Oh man, we here, we here. It looks bright, okay. Camera looks alright. I'm here just, let me turn this down a little bit. So yeah, well, we gonna start. Obviously, I got that right there. We can do the single cam for right now. Don't worry about my drink. I'm only drinking no drugs. We don't do drugs. I just like when I put ice in a cup. I like these. I don't know why, but it feels like it retains your ice more. But yeah, man, we here. I mainly wanted to jump on here to do something differently. I was gonna name the stream. Black Hassan Piker, but my stream is not gonna be all about politics. We're gonna talk a little bit about that, but that ain't. I never want to be a full time politics streamer ever. So because that shit is, I don't know how he does it. That shit must break your brain. But yeah, just want to talk a little bit. I saw a video that I really want to watch, and I'm realizing I'm starting to like take away. I'm like, yo, let me watch this on stream before I just watch, because I'll just watch some shit. That's what I do. I just watch. I'm gonna jump on, watch, and then indulge. And it's on a topic that I've been thinking about a lot lately, more recently. Which is about Andrew Schulz, of course. Videos by FD Signifier. Go follow him. Go like his channel. All that. He's one of the great content essay guys, I would say, for me personally, because he's a black dude, but he also is a leftist, and he has like the right politics. I think that the anti-capitalist politics that I think is necessary, and he explains it in a way that I think people, younger people, can understand. Because a lot of people think, oh, you're a socialist. Oh, you want everybody broke, and it's like that's not how it works. But he does a good job explaining it. I can't explain it as well as he does, so it's like it's one of those things. You feel me? Also, I think this is like my first stream on TikTok. Obviously, I'm on Twitch as well, and I'm also on YouTube. So I'm gonna put my like usernames and shit under my shit at some point, and we'll like do that. But I'm just testing this out. This is like first couple test streams. So if you're in this, shout out to whoever's on any. I don't have a view count for TikTok, so I don't know who's watching on TikTok. I know TikTok is up and down weird, so shout out to TikTok. I'm trying to get a way to get the chat up. I'm actually going to try to pull the chat up, see if I can at least. I don't know. Let's see if I could do that. That'd be dope, because I got my Twitch and YouTube chat, but I don't have my Twitch chat. I guess I could pull it up on my phone. Let's see for right now. Oh yeah, yep, there we go. Oh shit, I just exited the damn stream. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Well, shout out to Raydog. Raydog was just in here. It just said shout out to Raydog. I'm gonna try to just shout out everybody who pops in. At least with TikTok, it shows me who pops in, who joins. So you don't really do that unless you go into the chat. Same with YouTube. So shout out. Let's see, TikTok. If I could pull it up right here, then I'm fine. We gonna exit the chill music. Let that sit for right now. Let's see. Go to my profile. It should say I'm live. Which it didn't let me go live the other day, which I was kind of out by. Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm just turning it up to check the audio levels. All right, perfect. Yeah, that looks good. Let me mute that. So at least I got my TikTok chat down here as well, which is nice. Let's see. Let me go to my settings. So you can give me a rose, a finger heart. I don't know nothing about. I'm telling you, I really don't know nothing about TikTok live. I will learn. I will learn. I never watched the live either, so bear with me if you are in here on TikTok. This is the first TikTok stream that we're doing. But yeah, man, I'm trying to expand, trying to expand over here. You know what I mean? I'm an old head, so I don't be on TikTok and shit like that. But I like creating on TikTok. I've created some stuff and it gets views and it does well and it attracts the right people. So I kind of fuck with that. What's going on? How did I say this name? Costellus, whatever. Costellus or whatever. But shout out. See, I like TikTok more, man. When it comes to at least I can see who pops in. Even if you pop in for a quick second, I could at least shout you out right away. Twitch is not really like that. You gotta like comment and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not gonna be strictly focused on the TikTok. I'm gonna spread it out. But yeah, this first video we're gonna watch is FD Signifier. The title says Charlemagne get your boy. It's in reference to Andrew Schulz, who I'm a huge like day one guy of Andrew Schulz. So the Andrew Schulz that we've gotten over the last, I would say a decade really. Because I was a Brilliant Idiots fan 13, 14 years ago from day one. Still listen every week. I still love the show and I still love, the conversations that they have. But like, as someone who was a fan of Andrew Schulz at one point, seeing what he is today is a very different extreme. The mask is off. He's more, ever since he got with Joe Rogan, he's been like the right wing, like explicitly right wing MMA, WWE, like all the Dana Whites, all those people who he's rubbing shoulders with, powerful elites. He's been billionaires and shit. His whole tune has changed. He come up through black circles, he did come up through Geico, but he got his name through Charlemagne, who, Charlemagne has his own issues as well, but at least one thing I can always say about Charlemagne is that his consistency, and he does try to grow. I think the criticisms of him, Charlemagne, sometimes are unfair. Schulz, not so much. I think a lot of the criticisms that he gets are very warranted, and he earns them. He earns them with what he does. But yeah, Schulz has been on. He was a proud. It's funny. It's weird to me. So he was a proud. He was a proud like Democrat as long as I've listened to him, right? Like he grew up in a Democratic household. He growing up in that, right? That was like his main thing. Shout out to the names that are joining. I don't know how to say that name. Shout out to Level Up Lounge. But he was like proud of that. So I was like, okay, he's a little Democrat, but he always had his critiques of liberals, like any rational Democrat or left-leaning person will have, because I'm a leftist and I have criticisms of the Democrats and the Republicans. Obviously, I know one is worse than the other, but I also think that both have accounted for extreme atrocities that have gone on in the world. So I'm not like naive to that fact, right? So I know that, but I do know that voting for one, you're in a safer place than voting for the other, is what I'm saying. Right? It's the lesser of two evils, and let's stress the lesser of. You know what I mean? That lesser should be overstated, because more evil is still very fucking evil, and evil is still evil. But Schulz has always been that, right? And for me, I always looked at Schulz, I'm like, oh, he's just a fair guy. He's criticized both sides. I always looked at it like that for a long time. That's how I saw it, and that's genuinely what it was. I think a lot of people who listen to Schulz, or even Charlemagne, they get bite-sized clips of these guys, and they get clipped out of context. But the sentiment that a lot of people have towards Schulz right now is warranted, in my opinion, because even beyond the clips, he was in defense of Trump. Anytime Trump did something, he came up with an excuse. Anything that Joe Rogan backed, he backed the exact same thing, and he under the guise of free speech, because the thing he cares about as a comedian, stand-up comedian, was free speech, right? That was his whole shtick, right? That's Schulz, right? And Schulz is like a self-proclaimed ambassador of comedy ever since he started blowing up on YouTube, and he got big-headed because of his stand-up clips were going viral on YouTube, and he created pretty much a new industry. Schulz did do that. Give him credit. So I think that put him in other rooms and other proximity. Obviously, you become like you don't get an opportunity to be an elite. You hate the elites, but as soon as it's your turn, you're going to be there. It's like it's why capitalism is so bad. Capitalism makes people feel like, oh, I can be the billionaire. There's a chance I might be the billionaire. So that's why everyone is still in hot defense of capitalism, even though it doesn't benefit them in the long run. They still have that belief that maybe I'm going to be the one to make the $1 billion. Maybe I'm going to be the billionaire. So I think a lot of people are that. Okay, good. I just want to make sure all the streaming shit was good, make sure all the quality. But yeah, I've noticed that Schulz has as power has as he gotten rubbing shoulders with Trump and all these guys, all this. He had Trump on his podcast. That was the day that I stopped listening to Flagrant. Not only because they had him on there, because I think he should go. I would interview Trump right now. Me personally, I would, but I would hold him to the fire. I wouldn't give him a softball interview. They gave him a softball interview. They fucking stroked his dick. They giggled the whole time. Mind you, they do interviews like that with a Zoran Mandani, with a Pete Buttigieg. They've done that, but they also are more critical in those interviews than they were with Trump, who arguably they should have been more critical to Trump because Trump holds actual power. Zoran Mandani wasn't even in office, he wasn't even elected, and Pete Buttigieg is no longer in the White House. So they gave them harder interviews as not sitting people. Obviously, Zoran was campaigning, so you do need to do that. You do need to put him to the fire, of course, which he did incredible. Which that's never a fault. I don't mind them putting pressure on them. My problem is when they were faced with Trump, they did not put that pressure on him. And I'm not saying they put an overwhelming amount of pressure on Zoran Mandani or them. They still are softball interviews for the most part, right? I will say that. And Schulz brings up how he's like, well, I held him to fire about the immigration thing and the abortion thing and access to IVF, because I had to center it on myself. I had to experience not being able to have a kid for me to have empathy. One of those people. So I still listen to Brilliant Idiots, because Brilliant Idiots, Charlemagne doesn't really shy away from holding Schulz to the fire. When Schulz is on bullshit, Charlemagne will call it out. So I always respect that dynamic. They don't always agree on shit. But I know Charlemagne gets wrapped up in that. But yeah, this FD signifier video is a video I wanted to watch. I'm gonna play it, and obviously I'm gonna pause and give any love, but yes, right here, FD signifier, or this FD streams page. But let's watch this and see what he was going on about.
I'm developing a new framework of pro-black for 2026 that is more useful and less prone to rage baiting and FBA nonsense and meaningless, pointless arguments. You want optimal education around black issues.
I already like where he's going with that, by the way.
And what pro-blackness is all about and needs to be. You want coalitions built, you want community. Mm-hmm. I just have so much less energy for what's the word I want to use here? And this is why I haven't figured this out yet. But I just know the aftermath of Kamala's presidential campaign and the further mainstreaming of FBA nonsense lets me know that we really need to reevaluate pro-black as a unifying framework for black liberation. Because pro-black to some people is just pro-black capitalism. It's just pro-black excellence.
I love that he said that. I mean, I feel like he's been saying similar things, but I literally have noticed that today. And it took me a second. I forgot, who was I listening to? I think I was listening to Higher Learning, Van Lathan, Rachel Lindsay. I love them both. They both are great. I forgot who they had on there, but they were talking about Paul Robeson. I think that was his name. I didn't know much about him. And Jackie Robinson, which is the king in the pond, the king in ponds or something like that. Something like that. I forgot the name of I think it's a doc or something that's coming out. But it was pretty much just how our black leaders, essentially, and I've had this belief, Kwame Ture, these guys. I've had this belief that the freedom fighters, like the Martin Luther Kings, those guys, a lot of them were leftists, a lot of them were more socialists, when it came to their politics. They were they weren't really capitalist in a way, right? So, and I was like, yeah, and I didn't understand this until I understood what capitalism was more. I started to learn more, and I was like, oh, capitalism is not a good thing. Well, even if it's like even though it would be a good thing if I became a billionaire or even like multimillionaire, I would be like, oh yeah, I love capitalism, right? Of course, right? Because you're at the top of the pyramid. But a lot of the, like, we used to really support like the kings, all of these guys, right? Like, based off of their beliefs and based off of what they stood for and the liberation of black people. But like nowadays, I just look around and I'm always just like, and it made me, because I was always wondering, like, why does it annoy me when people deify Jay-Z just because he's rich? Mind you, I know it's the music, the connection, the emotional connection to the music. I love the music. I love almost every whole album. I listen to everything he put out. So I'm one of those. Maybe some features here and now, I don't know. But like I'm a Jay-Z fan day one. Like, since I was old enough to listen to hip hop, I've been listening to Jay-Z. So obviously I have that personal connection as well. But I was always wondering, like, why does that always feel off when people deify Jay-Z and make him an idol, make him perfect? I was like, oh, it's because the biggest praise that Jay-Z gets is less about his lyrical ability. Now, you have those people who are real hip-hop fans who do that. Similar to me, I will praise him for his lyrical ability. But people really praise him for his business dealings and his net worth and his position of power, right? That is what a lot of people, and I'm like, that ain't pro-black. Like, that ain't the pro-black movement that we do. We we celebrate a black person becoming a billionaire. They celebrated Tyler Perry. You know what I mean? They celebrated Dr. Dre. I mean, we only want to talk about the atrocities that Dr. Dre has caused in his life towards women. That's a whole other topic. But it made me realize that, and what really struck the core, and I'm going to play it soon. What really struck the core for me was seeing La Russell, right? I'm a big fan of La Russell's movement, and I also think he raps well, right? Like, I think he raps really good. So for me, I'm like, yeah, I love La Russell. He's fun. He has good energy for the most part. I think sometimes he kind of shits on people, and he's kind of arrogant a little bit, and like, it's like disguised behind some of the, for the community, which I think I love that part about him. Like, no one's perfect, but there is a little bit of arrogance, which comes with being a rapper, and I'm the best rapper, I can do all this. He's proud of himself. I did it. But a lot of his like praise is about the money, the like, oh, look, he's doing this because he's doing this at his house, and he built this, and and it's just like, all right. Like, I support it. Like, I support him. Like, I'm not saying him necessarily. There's nothing. The problem is not him at all. And obviously, he just signed to Rock Nation, so shout out to that. Shout out to him. But I'm saying from like the perspective where it's just like the celebration comes from, oh, he getting money. Like, I think the thing that would help black people as a whole, the thing that would help black people as a whole, if we eliminate the term, but he got money though. If we get rid of that mentality and that perspective, all good. Got that shit. We'd be good. But yeah, let's continue. But that made me think of that.
It's not pro-black everyone. It's not pro-black poor people. It's not pro-black LGBTQ people. It's not even pro-black behavioral health disabilities. It's a specific pro-black that we've piggybacked all these other things on, but you recognize, if you just pay attention, that they shed all that shit as soon as they get the opportunity, which is why we're talking about Andrew Schulz. So for those who may not know, Andrew Schulz is a comedian, podcaster type dude, Trump voter. And Andrew Schulz is only significant because of his connection to Charlemagne the God. So here they are, the Brilliant Idiots podcast. This podcast started 2020. And then...
No, it did not.
Oh, he must have started at the same time. That's wild.
No, he
I didn't
did not.
know Flagrant 2 started at the same time. So Flagrant 2
started as a side podcast before the YouTube channel. that was a sports podcast with Cass, who's also on Hot 97 right now. Brilliant Idiots started back in like 2010. 2010. No, not 2010, like 2013, 2012, 2013, around that era. The YouTube channel the Andrew Schulz YouTube channel used to be a separate thing. Like that's where all his comedy is. That's where all the Brilliant Idiots episodes was. Then they migrated to a different account. And, you know, Flagrant started after that, of course, was the spinoff from the Brilliant Idiots. So yeah.
2 and Brilliant Idiots starts at around the same time. But as you can see, Brilliant Idiots podcast has less than 500,000 subscribers. And Flagrant has almost 2 million. Here's the key thing. However,
whatever FD is about to talk about here seems kind of off, just based off of like he got 2 key things wrong. The reason why the Flagrant podcast numbers are big is because Andrew Schulz used to upload the Brilliant Idiot episodes to his main YouTube channel. So he built that YouTube channel up with that. And then that same YouTube channel, Andrew Schulz put out clips of his stand-up and crowd work and all this other stuff. And then that blew up on that channel that was established by Brilliant Idiots, of course. Then that became so big that Schulz was like, all right, let's put the Brilliant Idiots stuff on a different YouTube channel to have his own space, which is the channel he's talking about in 2020, I guess. And then Flagrant, I think, is also a separate YouTube channel now. Well, used to be on the Andrew Schulz. Now I think Andrew Schulz is just for his stand-up clips and stuff like that. Maybe it's the same or something like that. But or it's maybe the Flagrant YouTube channel. I can't remember if it's the same. But that would be why it got all the more subscribers.
How long Andrew Schulz was around? He was essentially a nobody until he became Charlamagne's pet white boy. Charlamagne put Andrew Schulz on. Andrew Schulz was not a household name or a significant figure at all.
I agree with that part. I put Charlamagne as his credit for that.
Comedy moments, he had some specials, but I'm pretty sure
he didn't
they
have
probably
no specials.
The realest part is what is it? What was it? Man code, guy code. This is Andrew Schulz, guy code, ridiculousness, etc. And all of that was produced by Charlamagne on like MTV2 and shit.
Wasn't produced by Charlamagne, but Charlamagne was part of the cast. Him and
Schulz was able to grab a hold of like, you know, cultural cachet, specifically with black people. But with Flagrant 2,
I see why, because Charlamagne and like someone like Charlamagne and Killer Mike both, they like send disses to FD, because FD was kind of like, because Killer Mike and Charlamagne will dick ride Jay-Z to death because of capitalism, and FD will call it out, right? And they'll be like mad at his YouTube channel. They like send some subs his way. But if you are going to go at people like that, you got to kind of get your information correct. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty late. I know he's doing a stream and he does research on his full videos. Don't get it twisted. But it's kind of lazy to just be like, oh, this YouTube channel was created here. Boom. All right. Well, you know, this is that. And it's like, no, it was, you know, you got to dig it a little deeper. But I'm also a day one fan of I was a Breakfast Club fan first. Well, actually, I was a Geico fan first. Then I started listening to the Breakfast Club. Then Brilliant Idiots came out, and I was listening to a bunch of podcasts at the time. I was listening to Combat Jack. I was listening to The Read. I still listen to The Read to this day. Rest in peace to Combat Jack, by the way. Shout out to Premium Pete. Rest in peace Dallas Penn as well. But yeah, I and Just Blaze. Shout out Just Blaze. But yeah, I listened to the Loudspeakers Network. They had a lot of podcasts. I still listen to the Friend Zone. I was listening literally today on my way home from work. But yeah, that's the real origin. I wish he had more information, but I guarantee you some of that doesn't matter. The point that he is making is that Charlamagne put Schulz on. I'm such a stickler for that. I'm such a stickler for like those details. I'm such an annoying ass person. No wonder why people get mad at me.
They had Fresh and Fit on there once. It was an ugly moment because they clowned Fresh and Fit, but they were definitely in the same category. And
they weren't in the same category until recently.
He very much became a Trump supporter, and they had Trump on their podcast this past election.
That was the best dodge of the question.
That's your second best dodge of your life.
Listen to this.
You didn't hear it, but that's good. They spend millions of dollars on the name CBS. Yeah. And then I come along and I say it's Face the Nation.
Yeah.
or meet the fake press.
Yeah.
You know, meet the press.
You're good at
I
this.
say meet the fake press.
Yeah.
And they spend all this money, and then I say it once, and it goes to millions of people.
Yeah.
But no, they are fake. But some of these questions are much better.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm honored.
Much better.
You just don't have answers, though.
Fucking losers, bro. Fucking bummy
And
losers.
so they sit up here and they giggle like fucking school children at Donald Trump. And he did this whole tour. He did this. He did Rogan. He did.
I'm sorry.
what's the-
I love the original Flagrant where it was Schulz, Akash, and Kaz. When they were talking about sports, it was literally a sport podcast. And then Kaz got kind of screwed out of some deals, got screwed out of some stuff, and then they kind of got rid of him. I guess they got in an argument. He said some disrespectful shit to Kaz, and Kaz was like, "I'm out." Then they got rid of him, and then once Schulz started blowing up on YouTube with his stand-up little clips and whatnot, he kind of pivoted and made the podcast about comedy for the most part. They were comedians just shooting the shit, talking about current shit, and being funny. It kind of shifted over to that. And then I don't know what it is, but then it became, once Joe Rogan became like a part of Schultz's experience, once Schulz went on Rogan and then became, I guess, friends with him, then it became more political, which is weird. And it's literally just a politics podcast at this point, which is fucking How do you go from sports to comedy to politics? And now, if you're going to do politics, let's do some like real politics, like be funny, you know what I mean? But then now it's this. I don't really fuck with it. I fuck with Alex. That's about it. I don't really fuck with Akash. I think he's funny. I think Mark Gagnon's the funniest one on these couches. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into his politics or anything. I don't know if he supported Trump, because these guys don't support. Like Akash didn't vote for Trump. Alex didn't vote for Trump. Schulz admitted that he did, because he was riding dick so much. I don't know about Mark, but I do think that they're funny. But I just can't listen to it no more. I hate when I listen to a podcast. I'm like, you guys are I don't want to listen to something and be like, you guys are fucking idiots.
What's the little boy named Aiden Ross? Very much a Trump.
I typically listen to people who are like, either like they're talking about a topic that I have no clue on, and they're like actually correct about it. Like I learn stuff from people. I'm always constantly like, I watch stuff to learn, or have fun. Like make me laugh or teach me something, or do both. When you do both, that's when it's the best. I always say that's why The Brilliant Idiots is a better podcast, because they still touch on stuff and really have good conversations. It's just funny to me that he'll have a great conversation on Brilliant Idiots, then come to Flagrant and just be a piece of shit.
Trump advocate, right? And so over the last year, all of these guys have
Not
started
all
to be
of them.
like,
Oh man, I can't believe Donald Trump is so bad. I can't believe he didn't release the Epstein files. Who could have thought?
fucking horrible. And I tend not to care. I tend not to be bothered by the fact that any particular group of white figures supported Donald Trump or not, or regrets it at this point. I find that to be useless rage bait. But
I agree.
It always bothered me because they still had this show together. Him and Charlemagne still had a weekly podcast together where none of this Trump stuff ever came up. Or seemingly never came up.
It
They
did.
talked once after the election and Charlemagne conceded. So I've said before, I used to be a Charlemagne apologist. Because despite
What
all
did
of his
Charlemagne
issues,
concede?
I felt like Charlemagne was a useful endpoint to the worst niggas possible. Now Charlemagne's not a high-end intellectual, political, whatever. But
I don't think
the
either.
idea that his home
I also think Charlemagne has a specific piece handlers who give him messaging, because I listen to Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club, I listen to him on Brilliant Idiots, and I listen to him say he does a podcast somewhere else or goes on CNN or Fox News or something. That man talks more like a politician than politicians. He stays directly on message, says the specific words. So if you heard one interview, you heard it all. I respect the consistency of that, but it's also like, where are you getting some of this shit from? Like, what the fuck?
homeboy, his white homeboy, can be a Trump voter, and that's not a deal breaker. Not a conservative, right? Not a conservative, not a shit lib, not Ezra Klein. I mean, being a conservative should be a deal breaker in general. Yes, I agree.
Ezra Klein is a liberal? I had no clue.
But I could imagine if you
I
are
don't
in a
know much about him
workspace
anyways.
with conservatives, you don't just blow up businesses. for the most part. But MAGA on a podcast where you get into politics.
Why do FD Signifier and Mark Lamont Hill say MAGA like MAGA? Why do they both do that? Is that like a Hotep nigga thing?
And y'all's
or like a uppity Hotep nigga thing? Because they're more uppity. They definitely Hotep, but they're more elevated in their
podcast is about y'all being
knowledge
and friends. I don't get it. And so watching Schulz backtrack through his Trump support without proper pushback has been very frustrating. So I want to watch a little bit of this.
That's crazy.
And look, I know I had Trump on the podcast, you know, and I'm
Stop explaining that.
No, but let me just clarify because I think it is important to say. Like, I know how.
So immediately, Charlemagne? Why are you trying to protect this man? Charlemagne,
I don't get that part. I was listening to this podcast. I was like, Charlemagne, shut the fuck up.
Let me go back a little bit.
You should never try to escalate the situation, and clearly, all of them are escalating the situation. The training is horrible. I did 6 months of training. They're doing 47 days because this is the 47th.
I saw Amy Klobuchar on the Sunday news. She said that they do 47 days of training because Trump is the 47th president.
That's crazy.
And look, I know I had Trump on the podcast, you know, and I'm
Stop explaining that.
No, but let me just clarify because I think it is important to say.
Has he explained it? I mean, maybe I missed it, but I need to hear the explanation. I need to hear the explanation because I don't understand why Charlemagne would tell him to stop explaining this. Maybe let me look because I've only seen clips. Maybe I've missed it.
Pod comes out, and obviously
this is why you have to. This is why you have to like. It makes me uncomfortable a little bit, right? FD Signifier is someone who I like really trust, right, when it comes to media and also information. I think he's one of the smarter political people on the internet, especially leftists on the internet. Also, I think it's because he's black too, that it means more because I'm like, I want more black people like me, my age grade and lower, to understand the shit he says and the things that I understand now. But it makes me uncomfortable anytime I hear someone speaking so loudly on a platform that's big and just be wrong. Not saying the message is wrong about, oh, Trump's bad or Schultz bad because of support Trump. To me, that's like, yeah, duh, right? But like the details is like it mischaracterizes people, and I don't think I don't like that personally ever, no matter who it is, because it's like you don't have to do that. But
we're all like, expecting, okay, what's going to be the reaction to this? We knew it was a great pod. Comes out, reaction starts with the right. The right loves it. They're like, finally, this is Donald Trump. This is the personality. This is someone who's got charisma. He's making comedians laugh. He's just hanging out talking. Every headline is the best interview Trump's ever done, whatever. I expected that after it because I think we like kind of showed him as a man, right? It wasn't like a gotcha type of interview, which is not really our style.
You normalize
people that do the gotcha
fascism.
interviews. I
Yes.
think it's very narcissistic.
Yes.
For you.
It's just for you. It's like not exactly.
Like,
Or it's for your
stupid
fan
though.
base. Just go look at you. You
Kinda
held
down
the
this
torch
little.
to him.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, it's like you have an hour to potentially influence someone who might be the most powerful person in the world to have empathy for something you really care about, and he's listening to you. So how can we create a situation where he actually listens?
So
and he
dumb.
doesn't
How do
feel
you-
bullied? Pod comes out.
Yeah,
Trump and think you can
all
do that.
Cancel culture shit I said earlier. That's why we got to start it in June. This is our last victim of cancel culture. Is this motherfucker right here? It's like, let's get back to this. I want to hear because I really want to know what Charlemagne's about to say here.
Like, I know how I had him on the podcast, and when I'm talking out about this, I'm not doing it to like get people to be like, oh, he's a good guy or whatever like that, or try to get anybody on my side. I understand that this is a horrific event that happened. I objectively want to talk about it. I'm not trying to like win anybody over in this.
You understand? You know the difference between right and wrong.
There's a difference between right and wrong, and there's a
I
difference.
don't know if this motherfucker knows the difference between right and wrong, though. I just don't. I don't know if anybody that voted for Donald Trump truly knows the difference between right and wrong. Y'all
I
saw
agree
this
with that.
man
I feel
in
that.
Epstein's pictures, and that was a big deal for y'all. I've always understood all these motherfuckers.
He's been a piece of shit
what they're being exposed
far
to.
before that. Grab her by the
That
pussy
side
should
of
have been
the aisle
enough.
Campaigned on releasing Epstein files and draining the swap, etc.
Oh, shit.
And y'all saw this man in those pictures years before AI and deepfakes was popping off like that. So I don't get this. I know the difference between right and wrong thing because, like, were you that ignorant or did you not care? Like, I don't even have to
You
pull
not
out the
care.
real hardcore stuff. I'm just talking about the obvious stuff that everybody knows. January 6th treason shit, Epstein file shit, COVID.
This is why I like FD a lot, because FD is obviously someone who could put together some complicated sentences, can explain this in a way that's so like deep and philosophical, and that actually like give historical references, can do all of that stuff, which when he does do that stuff, I appreciate, because it just, you learn more. That's the way I like to learn. I like to listen to people and gather information. That's how person I am. But he also, similar to Mark Lamont Hill, this is why I get Mark Lamont Hill so much credit as well. He knows how to like dumb it down without talking to people like they're an idiot. So like, I can watch this and understand what he's saying, even on a deeper level. Maybe I have more knowledge than the average person, right? But I feel like I could send this video to anybody for any level, and they'll grasp what he's saying and trying to express. Though some of the information may be wrong, like that's just a nitpick of mine. That's just me nitpicking. That doesn't really matter in the grand scheme, because the overall message is still there. I'm just a nitpicker and annoying as hell.
Put bleach in your ass shit.
Shredding it. And now
What?
they're realizing that people have noticed it, and now they're trying to backtrack it. But
By the way, he's been wiping his ass with the Constitution.
Sure, and
I've been on
Thank
record
you,
with the Constitution.
Charlamagne.
When you
God
say we should
damn.
terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of election, shit like that got to be disqualifying if you run for president.
so here's a perfect example. So it's like, I know that there are people sounding the alarms about this. When I
He
saw
didn't even respond to that shit. That's why Charlamagne didn't want to talk about this shit. That's why he wanted to do it on the pod. Charlamagne just trying to get his money. So actually, I see what this is now. Charlamagne knows his pocket white boy is trash. He just don't care. And he's annoyed now because they should be up there doing yucks, doing...
I also like this because I get to see it from a perspective that is like not mine, because I obviously have a bias because I've watched Charlamagne and Schulz together for 13 years. I've watched them separate. I watched them separately in different periods of time, but I watched them together talking to each other for 13 plus years. You know what I mean? So like, it's almost like personal. With that, he isn't. He's a casual. So that's like, yeah, I agree though. Even watching for a while. He loves Schulz, but it's like,
he knows
yeah.
his pocket white boy is about to say some dumb shit and not get the picture, and he knows
The zoom in is
So
crazy.
he's like,
Just move on. I already know you full of shit about this.
Whoever edits this is hilarious, yo.
he
It's so
looks
stupid.
frustrated.
all these last few weeks in Minnesota, I didn't think it was possible to happen in the United States of America. I'm being 100% serious.
To white people.
No, to anybody.
But you've seen it happen to black people.
Exactly.
Yes, to white people.
It's okay to say that.
No,
No, it is.
No,
But it's okay to say that.
I don't. I mean, I didn't know that this was possible to happen in the United States of America. And what I'm specifically talking about with
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my
He does seem
god.
pissed. He does seem pissed. This is painful to listen to.
situation here, and like not only this one, but also what we've seen ICE doing, like entering homes without
This
warrants,
nigga
like,
Charlamagne.
arresting people.
This nigga Charlamagne is trying to hold it together. Oh, okay. So at least I know Charlamagne. I'll say this: it's some bullshit and it's whack as fuck that he's still doing the show with this dude. Especially he's kind of seeing what the dynamic is. But at least I know Charlamagne. He knows the situation. He just doesn't care. He is pulling through. He is hyper focusing on the bag right now. He is locked in for the bag. What was he about to say here right here?
When I saw these last few weeks in Minnesota, I didn't think it was possible to happen in the United States of America. I'm being 100% serious.
To white people.
That part I agree with. I don't think Charlamagne is there for the bag. Like, I think obviously they're actual friends. You know, and the thing that's confusing to me is that, like, if Schulz didn't vote for Trump, if he didn't say that he did out loud, I wouldn't think that he did, right? Yes, he had him on the show, all this stuff. But, like I said, the history, and I go off of history with people. As long as I've listened to Schulz, he's always been left-leaning in most of his stuff. And I think he probably still is. I just think he's a dick rider for Trump and Elon and Joe Rogan. I think he's part of that faction of Trumpers, because I don't think he voted for Trump before. But I think he's a part of that faction of Trumpers, where it's like, I'm a dick ride all these billionaire niggas. Elon is the smartest. Like, he's one of those people who thinks Elon is smart. Not saying Elon isn't smart to do business and things like that. But like, thinks that he is like a scientific genius. There we go. That's probably the best way to put it. And also thinks that he created Tesla, PayPal, all these things when he inherits a lot of this stuff. Like, there is a facade of Elon that I thought too, until I learned more about Elon. I was like, oh shit, Elon is what he presents himself to be. He isn't this weird autistic genius, you know what I mean? Now I'm sure there's some genius there, some expertise, something there, but not in the way that a lot of people think. And I think that Schulz fell for that. I think, and that's me going at it in good faith. Now, bad faith is I want some fucking tax relief. The fuck? You gonna be in power, so I'm gonna get my taxes. I'm gonna be good. You know, I got a family now. I gotta take it. You know, all that stuff.
No, to anybody.
But you've seen it happen to black people.
Exactly.
Yes, like, to white people.
It's okay to say that.
No,
No, it is. But it's okay to say that.
I don't. I mean, I didn't know that this was possible.
You see this nigga Charlamagne? Like, you see these ticks? Can y'all see? Let me make this
Oh
post.
no, that's funny. Me and my friend always sends me
Charlamagne's
clips of
face
Charlamagne doing
as
it.
he's talking.
He always
like,
does that
trying to
thing.
Hold it together. Like as he's talking.
That's
and,
funny
like,
as hell.
He's picking at his ear.
Anybody.
But you've seen it happen to black people.
Exactly.
Yes, like to white people.
It's okay to say that.
No,
it is. But it's okay to say that.
I don't. I mean, I didn't know that this was possible to happen in the United States of America. What I'm specifically talking about with this situation here, and like not only this one, but also what we've seen ICE doing, like entering homes without warrants,
Yeah.
like arresting people, it is incredibly un-American.
Nigga, it's fascism. Ooh. Come through. You about to say what I'm thinking, Charlamagne? Can I have some grace for you if you say exactly what you need to say to this motherfucker in this moment? What you about to say, Charlamagne?
We don't know that they're even agents.
I thought Ice-T's perspective was very interesting.
What he say?
Ice-T said that there's going to be a civil war. But he said the civil war is going to be between local law enforcement and ICE agents. He said that it's inevitable because of what, even Taylor is saying. Like, you don't know who these people are, right? And
I disagree. We'll come back to that. Somebody just asked, will I go on the Breakfast Club? There was a time where I really would have been excited to go on the Breakfast Club. Now I don't know because I would not want to go into that space combatively. Because I don't think I could go into like having had Charlamagne and Killer Mike talk shit about me on podcasts.
They have done it.
That if I go to the Breakfast Club, I can't just go in there on some chill, let's have a discussion shit. Because I don't think I'm not there's certain spaces I would never go. Y'all kind of know some of them. But I don't believe in going into a space. I'm not a debate type dude. My energy don't work with that. I'm sure we can find common ground, but like, regardless of how I feel about Charlamagne, this is still a trained media figure with way more years on the mic and on the camera than I have. And so if I go to the Breakfast Club, I don't want to catch what Eric Adams caught with Olay from the whole Breakfast Club crew. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. I wouldn't rule it out, but there would have to be some type of like conversation around how do we talk about shit like this?
I'm happy he said that because like I feel that same way.
I thought, and I heard people sound the alarms. I thought that our institutions and our Constitution could hold up. I didn't think that it would be infringed upon.
But you have to have people who care to hold up.
And that's the question, is like, who's going to end up doing that? So what you're saying is that local law enforcement is going to end up doing that, and they're going to be pushing back against ICE. And you would also,
please tell me that's not what you're saying, Charlamagne.
In ICE going, hey,
that's not what I don't think that was what Charlamagne was saying. I don't think Charlamagne was saying that. I'm gonna let him repeat that. Make sure I ain't tripping.
I thought,
he did not.
Again, I heard people sound the alarms. I thought that
you heard people sound alarms. We'll come back to that.
Institutions and our Constitution could hold up. I didn't think that it would be infringed upon.
But you have to have people who care to hold
What is all this stuff on like the TikTok screen? TikTok Live has got all this like advertisement and shit. What is all of this?
Charlamagne, blink twice, my nigga. Look at Charlamagne's face again when he says that bullshit. So if you didn't catch it, Schulz is white people in. He says, I didn't think that the Constitution would be disregarded so easily.
I'm gonna check my.
Charlamagne says you have to have
check
people
out.
who want to hold up the
Constitution. Okay, so it does. It live. Okay, so it does come in as mine.
You mean police officers? And look at Charlamagne's face after he says that bullshit.
I thought that our institutions and our Constitution could hold up.
Have people who care to hold up.
And that's the question, is like, who's going to end up doing that? So what you're saying is that local law enforcement is going to end up doing that, and they're going to be pushing back against
I hate that outfit that Schulz got on. It's a good outfit, but the shoes are garbage.
Hold on, let me see if I can get it on the perfect frame. Well, you know what, Oni, I want you to freeze it on the perfect frame when this nigga gave her this nigga look.
What the fuck? I'm gonna get an editor. That's my goal. My goal is to get big enough to get an editor. That's my goal. Goal for TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. I need to get an editor.
Look at this man's posture right now. He is literally he has both hands in front of himself, in front of in between his legs.
Why are you wearing this Tim's like? Oh, okay, I get he alright.
Keep it together. As his white
those are fresh Tims too. Those are brand new.
The dumbest, whitest, most uninformed bullshit you've ever heard.
against ICE.
Yeah,
And you would also, I would imagine, would hopefully go like there might be people in ICE going, hey, what we're doing is unconstitutional and we cannot continue to behave this way.
Whenever you have a political movement that has been as anti-democratic as Trump and MAGA have been, you're going to get pushback culturally, institutionally, legally. That's what you should hope.
All right, come on.
Like the Trump ass kissers. They're like, whatever Trump says, we do. I don't believe in any principles, and I don't believe in the Constitution.
Tell them you're not one of them, Schulz.
No, I mean, I think that anybody listens to this show knows that I'm not one of them. I mean, specifically with immigration, when he was on the pod, we pushed back.
I mean, I don't think Schulz is a Trump sycophant. I'll give him that, but like
that's low bar. That's a low bar. I voted for him, but I ain't one of the people who saw. Nigga, I don't care.
Not a Trump sycophant, Schulz.
Low bar.
Because here's the thing. Here's the real fucked up thing I want you all to realize. This is on Charlemagne's show. He hasn't done this on Flagrant. That's where this needs to happen. This don't need to happen on.
He's done it on Flagrant. He's done it. He's done it.
Have this same tone and attitude. Even though it's still trash.
He's
there would still be some type of skin in the game.
Some people would be like, "Oh, come here."
We'll come back to that in a second.
I'm talking about having committed any crimes.
Someone in the chat just told him that he did. Okay.
You might feel like you want all legals gone. You might feel.
I still think what Schulz is saying is bullshit. Too fucking late. But come on, you're saying the right thing still, right?
That's some white people shit. Start with the criminals.
The way to do it is to erode American values. I think that we can all agree on that.
Unless it's not about immigration.
Well. And we're talking about in Flagrant, it's like less than 5% of the people they've deported are
yeah.
actual criminals.
Yeah.
So, and then 75% are just long-standing residents here that are here undocumented, right? So what I think they're doing is using this thing of security as a smokescreen so they could just blanket deport and harass not only illegals.
The frustrating shit about Schulz saying all this stuff is if you watch the Brilliant Idiots, these have been some of the arguments that Charlemagne has given Schulz, and then Schulz would combat it and like deny, like, no, that's not it, and give it as many excuses to Trump as possible. He may not be a sycophant, but he's a dick rider at the very least. So it's just annoying to hear him say. It's like watching that podcast, because I watched it obviously before. I listen to Brilliant Idiots every week. Literally one of my favorite podcasts. But like Schulz is saying everything that Charlemagne has been saying and been trying to tell him, you know what I mean, for the longest. What's up, Tube? What's happening with you? And it's just like, bro, you're like, you can't say this after you voted for the guy. And also, you can say this, and I think it's good that he is saying this at the moment, but it's annoying that you're saying it right now because you voted for this nigga after January 6th. After that. Like, you go bad faith with any criticism. Anytime there's criticism towards Schulz, he looks at it as, oh, these people are bad faith. They're just trying to cancel me. They're blah, 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 blah. He goes into that. But then it's like, Trump does something extremely authoritarian and also trying to take over overturn the election, which is the most unconstitutional, un-American thing already. He already did that. And now and then you vote for him after that, and then once two white people get killed, now it's time to be like, oh man, I thought America would be America. Nigga, shut up. That's my biggest complaint with Schulz. It's like, either you're fucking stupid or you think that we are stupid, and it's like, it doesn't matter now because you still need to build coalition with people who may be on the other side, which is someone who voted for him. You need to make sure that the people who voted for him before don't vote for him ever again. So you open up that grace. But it's still fucking annoying as hell that it's like, why are you saying this now? You should have been saying this shit.
But also American citizens.
Oh!
The worst case is
This is a test run for the elections.
and he'll shut shit down.
Shut it down.
It's gonna be very hard to do. I thought about that too, Chris. It's gonna be very hard to do state to state. You got a lot of states that are gonna.
So, Chad, help me understand, right? If
I don't
I'm
get the
Charlemagne,
frustration
this is what I'm
for
doing.
Charlemagne
My
there.
stance has always been with Trump voters.
Bruh, it's crazy.
Stupid or evil. That's pretty much what it comes down to me. Either you're stupid
It's crazy.
or you're evil. Usually,
That's the thing that fucking pisses me off, is because it's like, I'm a person who loves history. I'm a big fan of history. Like, that was like the one thing in school that like piqued my interest outside of like guitar class and fucking photography. You know what I mean? That was like the only thing that like really piqued my interest and I was engaged with all through school, you know, is history. So, and specifically World War II, like not even just like the Holocaust nature of it, but like the entire war, you know what I mean? So right now we're on the precipice of that, right? We're like, let something bad happen to Putin, let something bad happen to Trump, let something bad happen to what's homeboy's name? Who's this? Russia? J Pin or whatever you say. I don't know how you say it name, but it's trying to let a threat happen, and then now we're there. Kim Jong-un as well, yes. Kim Jong-un is crazy. But like we are there. We're on the precipice, and it's not even joke. The sad part is there's no nuclear race because we're already there. So that makes it even more dangerous, obviously. But yeah, like it's just like, how do you not pay attention to the history? And I've listened to Schulz a long time. He's not dumb. He may be stupid, but he is not dumb. He knows history. I've seen him reference history. I've seen him do all of those things. He's not an idiot. So it's really just frustrating because that's really the only reason why it was ever surprising that he was supporting Trump. That's the only reason to me. Okay, good. Like, yeah, I literally was only surprised because I was like, wait, I've heard him speak out against the type of shit that Trump is doing right now. I've heard him accuse Hillary Clinton of doing some of the shit that Trump is doing. Like, so I'm like, that's crazy that you would still end up voting for him and openly tell people you voted for him.
A mixture of the two. Maybe you're too dumb to realize you're evil, or you're evil enough to play stupid. He's kind of playing stupid.
Great fucking.
I find it hard to believe that with the multitude of people
and he's not
in Andrew Schulz's general vicinity. I give Theo Vaughn a pass for stupid. I give Joe Rogan a pass for stupid.
No, I give him less of a pass than I would give Schulz.
Pass for stupid. I know for a fact that Schulz has had enough people to say, hey, it's not going to end with criminals. Policing doesn't work.
I think Europe is actually like what's going on with Europe. So Europe has always had this opinion of Americans, right? But like a lot of the European perspective on Americans was wrong, right? Like they just had it's kind of like just stereotypes, right? They had stereotypes for Americans and they viewed them a certain way, right? And a lot of that was like not real, not true, and a lot of it is still wrong. You know what I mean? Because the average American do not support this shit, do not support the government, right? But the government was always just looked at as, oh, they are war criminals, right? That was like the main perspective. Dumb war criminals was America as like a representation, not the average person, right? But like now we're at a point now to where a lot of the perspective of like the Europeans and other countries of America, a lot of that is just true now when it comes to the president, because the president represents a lot of those stereotypes that people had of America, on top of the war criminal aspect. So it's like, damn, like we're proven right. But I always say, like I always have to bring it back. The average person like does not agree with this shit. You have to think of it like this. High schoolers under 18 cannot vote. A lot of high schoolers oppose this. So that's a huge group of the population who aren't even voting in these elections. And then you have people who are 18 and above. A lot of them are convicted felons. So in a lot of states they can't vote, but they disagree with this. They disagree with the Trump era. And then on top of that, you have any people over 18 who are not registered to vote and won't vote in any election. So you take those numbers. It's kind of like, I always say it like this. On YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it is, odds are like a video will have 1 million views and let's say 100,000 comments, right? Everybody who viewed that video did not make a comment, you know. But if every 100,000 comment, like say 75% of that 100,000 were negative comments, right? Those are just the vocal minority. You know what I mean? Those are just the people. Most people, if they watch a video or listen to a song, they're going to click that like button and keep it moving. They're not going to comment, oh, I love this song. Some people feel the need to, once there's a negativity, to say something. I feel like that's what happens with voting. A lot of people are just lazy and don't vote in America. Aren't registered to vote. I'm registered to vote. You know what I mean? So, and I pay attention to politics in elections and stuff. But even sometimes there's like local elections that happen. I'm like, I didn't even know there was voting. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot of like, so people will look at, oh, Trump won the popular vote. There's 50-50 people who, that's only 50% of the people who actually got out of their house, went to the voting booth and voted, right? That's not even like majority of the people. And on top of that, a lot of, when Trump won the first election, he didn't win the popular vote. He won it because certain districts held more weight and certain states had more votes. So like Texas has more power than a lot of other places, and Florida has more powers. But like the average person aren't right wing. The average person aren't in support of Trump. It's just that the loud minority, and also he just has a lot of power in thing. Right wingers on social media could, but also someone like I'm a big Hassan guy. I think a lot of Hassan hate is manufactured by right wing grifters. I think anytime people hate on Hassan, like look at what you just said about Hassan. He went to "You support Israel, send him hate." That's, you should get hate if you support Israel. You know what I mean? Like, look, like what are the like right wing? You say right wing ringers are cooked, right? What do they do? Let's actually like take away. Let me just bring up a couple right wingers on social media who are pretty popular and get a lot of attention. Let me bring up one guy, Sneeko. Right? Sneeko's pretty big. His name is always in the headlines. Andrew Tate. Let's bring him up. Andrew Tate. Who else? Who else is a part of that like little? Oh, Nick Fuentes. He's the new big guy. He's the big guy on the scene, right? The Tucker Carlson of right wing online, right? But like let's go. What is a negative thing that you've seen in the news about Hassan compared to them? Let's go with Andrew Tate. Actually, let's put them all together in one room. They are in a party bus heading to a Miami club playing what song? That Hitler song by Kanye West, right? That is the shit that they're doing. That is just objectively bad, right? The thing that you brought up about Hassan is like the way he went at somebody. When morally, the shit he's saying about a person is still the morally right, because Israel is committing a genocide, right? Like that's just it's what's happening, you know. I think if you have to nitpick somebody, like if you that's my thing. If you have to nitpick Hassan, that lets you know that it's you have to like kind of search for things to be bad about this person. Because you just like, and I only say, and the only reason, and literally the only reason why I say that is not to deflect from what you're saying about Hassan, but the fact that you just grouped, you're not doing it, but you criticize the right wingers, which you should, and I agree with you, and you know how I give it up. But you are at the same time, you put them on the same level. You talk about them in the same breath as if it's comparable. You know what I mean? Like, and like that can be wrong. I don't agree with that being wrong personally, because I've seen what type of attacks that Hassan gets from people on the side of Israel, and you know I get it. But it is kind of like coffin baby versus atomic bomb or hydrogen bomb. You know what I mean? It's like the worst, like the things that people can find that are the worst things to say about Hassan don't even scratch the surface of what the right wingers do. It is kind of crazy how Andrew Tate and them, they move around like disrespectful. They talk shit. The Fresh and Fit dudes were there too, but they don't really matter in political conversations at all because everyone knows they're stupid. They just, you know, they just do whatever they can to offend people, get in the algorithm, and you know if they're okay with living that way and being remembered for that, then fine, because one day they're like all gonna die, and that's what they're gonna be remembered for. Look at the way that like, and Charlie Kirk was, I didn't agree with him and didn't like him at all, but he wasn't nearly as bad as an Andrew Tate. I think Sneako's a bit of a better dude than he is. I will give that to Sneako. I would say he's a little bit better, but they're all pieces of shit. And when they die, they will be remembered like that on the internet, and they will be memed up, like they'll be photoshopped on everybody. Like if that's the legacy that you want, boom. I doubt that Hassan was like, hey, he supports Israel, send him hate, guys. I doubt that he did that. He probably was like, hey, look at this person being a fucking Israel supporter, and probably put him on blast. But I doubt that he said like exactly like, you know what I mean? I would have to see the clip. I really would have to see the clip to really judge it, because the only thing I dislike about Hassan is, and it's not even really like a big dislike, because like I agree with most of what he goes about. I think him being like Hillary, like Kamala would be the same as Trump right now, I just think that that's a lie. But I think as in Palestine, yes, it would be the same. I don't think that Palestinians will get a real ceasefire and be free with Kamala, but I don't feel that way about anybody who will be elected. I just think that isn't the top of the list of concerns. Oh, as a cuck, yeah. I did see about that. See, they'll make fun of, soon as if Sneako were to die today, they'll make fun of him being a cuck. That's the type of shit, man. I be just thinking about. I just like, man, I do not want. I would hate to live like that. You know what I mean? Like I would rather be like overly like woke, the way that white people use it, than like, you know, and be looked at as like a loser, than be trying to be like one of them niggas. But yeah, let's because we're gonna get to the Shannon Sharp, Joe Budden video. I'll try to watch it all.
Also, this man tried to overthrow an election. But my point is that I can guarantee that
I love how FD ended up going exactly to the point that I just brought up after this.
Schulz had a handful of black people around him. Angela Yee is in Charlemagne's back.
That was hilarious. That Stephen A. clip was hilarious. He's like, oh my God.
At some point, Angela Rye and Schulz had a conversation. And that Angela Rye illustrated to Schulz the basics of why Trump bad. So he can't play dumb, because he heard these things. And he alluded to it a second ago, that he had people tell him what the reality of the situation was going to be. So the question then becomes, Schulz, why didn't you listen?
I hate the way he says Schulz. I hate the way he says it.
You that made it plausible in your head that
he says MAGA.
Clear evidence in front of you was not real, but the words of the multiple time criminal. What made it so that you would believe that, and not just the fact that it was black people telling them, 34-time felon. Thank you. Not just the fact that it was black people telling them, but that
34-time felon is crazy
out there. That's the only real question I would have.
That shit was hilarious.
I need you to interrogate what brought you to the decision to platform, support, and vote for Donald Trump. I mean, they threw money at him. They threw money at, like one thing I always thought was funny, if I'm not mistaken, they threw money at Sexy Red, but she supported Kamala Harris at the end of the day. So like, you can take the check and still not take the shit. No, Sexy, I mean, she might be a Trump supporter again because they're paying her checks, but I remember vividly.
Yeah, she just performed at like a Trump advisors party recently. I don't know if that means that she was like supporting Trump, but she performed at like a Trump advisors party. She never like explicitly came out and said she supports Trump, which, you know, and she didn't defend it. So I give her more credit than I give Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg lost all my respect. Niggas like him and Kevin Hart will do anything for a fucking check, and I don't respect black people like that. That's where black capitalism dies for me. I think not all money is good money, and you know, even to an extent, from what I can see, that's even why I don't go so hard on like Jay-Z, for example, because I don't know I can't see too many outside of the NFL thing. See, I completely disrespect, but like take away the NFL thing, I can't see too many times where Jay-Z has accepted just dirty money or like blood money for you. Like, I think the NFL thing is unforgivable to me. And it goes against everything that black people should stand for, in my opinion, because it is directly connected to black capitalism. But like, for the most part, he isn't just selling ass for $1. You know what I mean? So to an extent, I will give Jay-Z that credit. Maybe he's had enough money to where he didn't need to. And I know a lot of these guys but someone like Snoop has a lot of like money, equity, and all these things. So it kind of bums me out when those guys do it. But yeah.
Her coming out and saying she supported Kamala. And don't get me wrong, she was bad for all that shit regardless. But at least I can take solace in the fact that she wasn't a true believer. You see what I'm saying? She's back on the trail with Trump. I mean, she getting her check, so her 15 minutes is up, so I get it. Schulz seems like he operates largely out of spite and contrarianism when he's told something he supports as a bad position. I feel that, but no, the answer is white supremacy. The answer is, this is the flaw of white normies, the white moderate. This is every Malcolm X, Martin Luther King quote you've ever heard about white moderates, white liberals, Andrew Schulz. This is Afro-pessimism shit.
I've never actually thought of that, but that's actually very true if you think about it. Even though I've listened to way more Schulz than he has, and like know more about Schulz, like I've listened to him, like I said, 13 plus years on one podcast with him and Charlemagne. So I've heard almost every conversation that Charlemagne and Schulz could possibly have with each other. You know what I mean? So, but like I definitely see that, because it's like, that's the best way to put it, because Schulz is a quintessential moderate. I don't think I never agreed and never thought that he was just a right-wing guy. And I did believe at points that he was a full left-wing guy, but that kind of changed once like 2016 and the cancel culture came around. I started to notice that, he has some more moderate opinions. But yeah, like I think what FD just said like makes a lot of sense for what Schulz, like Afro-pessimist.
This is the fact that Schulz could be immersed in a black space, literally fed, literally brought to new heights of success.
Also grew up in New York in a diverse place. He didn't grow up in the South. That's the thing about Schulz that confuses me. I know there's like the New York niggas that are like very right-wing, and it's like, obviously you have he's from Manhattan, but like Manhattan guys who were like, super rich, so it was obviously conservative values from the wealthy aspect. But like the average white dude from like New York, the boroughs, the main boroughs aren't like that until you get to like Staten Island, until you get to Long Island. But like, he's not even from Staten or Long Island, so it's confusing. And also his parents aren't like right wingers. Like, he grew up in a left wing house. So that always confuses me about Schulz. This is all from Schulz. Like, I'm not assuming. Like, I know his story.
Yes.
At least as he's given it.
And Schulz has outgrown Charlemagne, at least in the podcasting world. But despite that reality,
hope it's a good game, but I'm going for the Seahawks.
Supremacy is just incredibly powerful. There are plenty of white people. There's just a dial or two turned in there somewhere, and they'll get it. It won't be perfect, but we'll at least get them over the voter for Trump threshold. You feel me? The voter for Trump threshold is not super hard for a lot of white people. They may not be John Brown. For he is on the side of justice, and you are on the side of change.
John Brown was a white guy back in the 1800s, if I'm not mistaken, who pretty much gave his life to for the rights of black people. He was like, John Brown is like, he was a white person who rode for black people for real, like sacrificed all of his white privilege to, help black people. Look him up if you don't know. His story is great. But yeah. If you don't have if you have white friends, like as a black person, I have white friends, and if any of my white friends aren't in support of black people, like if I ever found out that any of my white friends had animosity or felt a certain way against black people, I'll no longer be friends with them, because mainly from like, I think race is so fragile in America, especially being black in America is really rough. but mainly because of the way I view things. Like I don't I don't take bad experiences that I've had with a race or a gender or anything and blanket it across everyone. I don't be like, oh, this white person called me an N word. I never, in my head, I'm never going to just be like, oh, I'm never going to just be like, oh, well, white people suck. I'm never going to do that. Like, that's just not how I am. You know what I mean? Like I'm never going to, yeah, dude, that's what I keep hate watching your streams. That's imagine. But, yeah, I don't trust people who generalize groups of people who genuinely believe that, right? Like I have a lot, like, it's funny, growing up I've had more racist experiences with Hispanic people. I grew up in South Florida, a lot of racist Cubans, a lot of like right-wing Hispanics, and not just Cubans, Venezuelans, Colombians have been some of the worst that I've experienced. But like, I don't put that on Colombian people. Like, I cannot. Like, I know, because I know so many good people who, even if I didn't know any good Colombian people or Venezuelan people or just Hispanic people at all, even if every one of my experiences with that group of people, my brain is not wired to just think that they hate me or that they're bad people or all black bad people. I can never think like that. That's why racism to me befuddles me, because like, how, obviously media doesn't show black people positive light all the time, but it's like, how do you have like one experience with one person and think that that's everyone, like, it's funny because it's like everyone hates us, but everyone loves black people. Everyone loves blackness. They love the culture, they love the music, they love the movies, they love the TV shows, they love everything that we do. They love us in sports. They're huge fans of sports teams and the whole team is black. Like, but they still want, but like, I realize that that's a cultural thing. But yeah, let's get this video done.
That voter for Trump threshold should be the bare minimum to be in community. Anyway, let's keep going.
I understand. People probably look at this and be like, they've done a million other things to justify them, sure, and that's fair. But this specific situation, I think, is a breaking point and has justified all those criticisms. I think people's antennas are way up, and people's antennas that were not up initially.
This is like seeing the Epstein files. Because it's like,
Wouldn't it be nice if we got those?
It's like, damn, y'all really been lying to us. Like, damn, like, you really lying. Let me ask you a question. A lot of people will say, hey, Andrew, you supported Trump. You screamed.
I didn't support this at all. I never supported his immigration policy.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You never did support his immigration policy.
But you voted for him.
That's support, bruh.
I didn't support this thing if you voted for it. You can say I don't
love the ass dick tight good.
Everybody that voted for Biden and Kamala, which includes me, voted for the continuing of the policies that are happening in Palestine and Gaza and in Israel right now. You did.
Yes, you did.
Say you did not vote for that. You can try to excuse it.
Yes.
Right? You can say my goal in this was X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
But you can't try to deflect the worst part of the thing. You got to hold that. Because I got to be honest, what exactly did you vote for if you voted for Trump? What were you voting for?
Lower taxes for rich, wealthy people.
Would do any of the things that he said he was going to do because you didn't know him, because you believed in the guardrails of America.
Yes, certain black women. It ain't all. Not all black women can cook.
Pushing back against this,
Especially now, with younger girls, they don't cook. But the older, if you find a black woman who can cook, oh, it's some of the best food you'll ever have.
Some people that aren't just like Trump cultists. There are some people that are right-wing.
Even, I will say, even black women who don't cook that well or didn't grow up cooking, they can learn that shit pretty fast. And
Constitution. So that makes me happy. But I am. Yeah, it's just catastrophic, and I hope a lot of other
follow up, Charlamagne.
It would have been so easy just to say, as the administration, right?
Yep,
this is wrong.
Well, not even that. Hey, let's not rush to judgment. Let's
no follow up. No follow up. No follow up. At least his energies. He's relaxed again now. Yeah, I just don't. All right, I'm done. Because I don't want to hear. You know what? No, let me be fair. Let me try to be as gracious as possible. I personally don't want to or need to hear the political analysis of Andrew Schulz and Charlamagne the God on a problem they both helped contribute to. Andrew by platforming.
How does Charlamagne contribute? How did Charlamagne?
by not challenging this behavior a lot earlier and creating the lane for Andrew in the first place.
Okay,
However, if
that's fair.
Andrew did do this on Flagrant 2, that's a net positive.
She knew you was gonna swallow that shit up like Kirby. That's what she knew.
Andrew shows. We are in the middle of, thankfully, a great abandonment of the MAGA cult. Aside from the hardcore cultists, what I say last week with what's happening in Minnesota, they're losing a lot of the normies. Now, them losing normies doesn't mean we're gaining normies.
That's true.
Yeah, of the Gen Z, I'm pretty sure the Gen Zs that voted for this shit are like, oh, wow, maybe everybody else was
I
right.
forgot that
But
Gen Z was like the
I'm
first
personally
election
more
for like
interested
Gen
in-
Zs to
I'm
vote, so that's why it
genuinely interested in watching
went the other
Andrew
way.
Schulz unpack his belief in our systems. As a person who sat next to Charlemagne for all these years and watched Mike Brown, and watched Philando Castile, and watched George Floyd.
Oh no, certain
and then
food is
understand
better
that
than
police
having
tactics
sex.
would be exactly the same with ICE. As a person that sat in black
1000%.
spaces and watched January 6th and watched this man try to undermine our government to circle back
excuse
and
me.
say, oh, but I think the guardrails will keep him under control so he can do his agenda, which was what exactly?
I'm about to go take a piss real quick. I'm gonna still be hearing. I'm learning how to keep things playing while I walk away.
Make eggs cheaper and release the Epstein files. He is 0 for 4, and anyone with a brain, thank you, phone off. His actual platform was cruelty the entire time. It's just really frustrating to have Charlemagne sitting there and kind of throw him alley-oops to unpack things and him kind of like dip his toe in and then move on.
I was addicted to Percocets and Oxycontin and was able to get them on the street level in bulk.
Damn.
I didn't leave home with less than 40 pills on me.
What?
I was killing myself slowly but surely. I thank God every day that I experienced that at the time that I did, because that was before fentanyl. What fentanyl is out here doing and how undetectable it is, the pillhead that I was, I would kill myself. I'd have been dead. Just like that.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Club Shay on the Road. I am your host, Shannon Sharp, the guy that's stopping by for conversation and a drink today. Here's one of the most trusted, influential, leading voices in hip-hop media with a loyal fan base of millions. He's one of the few hip-hop artists to transition successfully in the
back?
media space without
I'm curious to see what this interview is all about. Stop part with that. Voting blank, man. I'm happy that you did that. Cause I'd rather you do that than like not vote at all. Cause it's the same thing, but it ain't. At least there's effort. I want to know that you like actually put a little effort in. You feel me? Okay. But yeah, I'd be interested to watch this interview.
Independent media empire, a podcast powerhouse and trailblazer.
I like Joe Budden, but I don't like him at the same time. There's a lot of things I don't respect about him. But like I'm a fan. Like I have a long history with Joe Budden as like a fan. Obviously when I was a kid, I was a big fan of Pump It Up. I remember when that song came out, I was like, oh, this shit fire. Like everyone knew Pump It Up. I was old enough to know Pump It Up at least. And then of course, what was the song? Was it Fire? What was the name of it? Drop top with it. The drop top with it. I forgot the name of that song. But like I was a fan of him. I thought he was cool. And then he was in the Def Jam Vendetta game. That was really where I really was like, oh shit. The new rapper is in here. You know what I mean? And then obviously, I didn't really listen to him for a long time. And then I would see him pop up on like World Star videos beefing with people. And then from there I kind of got on the Joe Budden TV show. And he also used to be on Ustream. He was the first rapper to go on like live stream on like he was doing this basically, but like on Ustream, bad quality. On his YouTube channel, he would just be like vlogging kind of. So it was like, yeah, it's like I've been like an observer of Joe Budden. I would say more so. Like I've never been like a fan of him. Like there's always been like I've always not liked something about him. And then of course him going on the Breakfast Club and him having the accusations of beating women. Like I just never really fucked with that type of stuff. But I think he's talented. I think he's very funny, very entertaining, really good rapper. Like a very, very good rapper. I've like once I listened to more of him, like just being like a lyricist and listen to more music, I was like, oh yeah. Joe Budden's a good rapper, as well, freestyles as well, like all that stuff. So you know, I'm familiar with him. So for me, it was just like, you know, and I've been listening to his podcast day one. I'm a podcast day one fan and a podcast across the board. I was listening to podcasts when people weren't listening to podcasts, and I was listening to podcasts before podcasts had videos. It was all just audio. So I'm a fan of Joe Budden, but I'm curious to see what he talks about in this interview. I haven't watched it yet or listened to it. He doesn't do a lot of interviews, I know, but when he does, he kind of just be like plays it cool, like just chill, and then he plays it all political. So let's see what he does. Shannon Sharp. I don't love Shannon Sharp interviews. I think the Cat Williams interview is a good interview. I think people kind of overstate that one, but you know that was a Cat ISO. You know that wasn't Shannon's good interviewing style that did it. But yeah. Who's the fat one? Which one? What Maul? I like but academics. That was I don't like academics at all. I actually hate academics, and I like wish bad on academics. I hope bad things like happen to him in life. Nothing violent, of course. I never want to. I mean, him getting slapped by that dude or whatever, that sounded fun. But I don't want nothing like, you know, bad to happen to him. I just don't like him at all. I respect what he has accomplished, of fucking course. He's extremely talented, and he's one of the best shit talkers we've ever seen in this generation. Like even when like he is clearly like the like the corny one in the situation, he still know how to dig at people. I don't respect any of it because he don't stand in nobody's face and do that. And to me, I'm just never a fan of like people who do that. Like if I'm saying something on here about someone, I'll just say it to your face. Like, you know, I don't, and plus I don't really say anything that's like aggressive. Like I don't. Anyways, like he said he plays like, oh, I'm a nerd, but it's like you say aggressive shit to people. You can't be a nerd and then say aggressive shit. Like, don't keep the aggression down. You could get off a lot of. Charlemagne does it all the time. Charlemagne will talk directly to someone about them, and then when he sees them, tell them to their face in a non-aggressive way. I think there's a way to do it. But there's a respect there. I'm a content guy. I look at what people do and what they accomplish, and I do think like less about the money, but just what he has accomplished as an individual, as an independent content creator, and what a lot of things he pioneered. I think he creates an appetite. Like if I ever build anything with this, he created an appetite for this. Obviously, I have more morals than he has when it comes to like life in general. He's a Trump supporter himself. He's one of them Caribbean blacks, conservative Caribbean blacks. I don't really fuck with none of them. But yeah, I don't like academics. Moral of the story. I also don't like how he put a lot of like smut on Ty Lil's name like that. Like that was a little much. I think it's just, I don't necessarily like, if you ask me if Ty Lil seems kind of grimy, maybe it's because of his background, where he come from. But I just wouldn't put nothing unsubstantiated on somebody, especially someone who had to deal with sexual assault allegations that don't seem to be true. But like, I just think it's just a little, like you could put him in a line. You could put him in a line of danger. You know what I mean? You can have him get jumped. You can have something violent happen to him, which is irresponsible. Ty Lil a little younger, I think. So it's like, that's a little fucked up. Like academics, you my age. You older than me, actually. Actually,
Grammy-nominated rapper, a savvy business owner, multifaceted entrepreneur, polarizing creator, unfiltered entertainer, unapologetic commentator, electrifying host, captivating personality, successful broadcaster, and admired artist, a media mogul, the podfather, Joe Budden.
Joe Budden.
Did we do you right?
Shannon, thank you for having me.
You remember we were just talking about, you was like, man, I ain't been in the business that long. I said, well, okay, I gave you a couple extra years, but you've been, like, started playing in the back of your head. You're right.
No,
you're
and then,
right.
And then as I'm listening to your introduction, I'm like, man, it has been road long.
Ocho, I fuck with Ocho, man. Ocho is from where I'm from, down in Florida. Like, so like Ocho, like literally, like is like he pulled up to one of my friend's house and played FIFA with them. Like he pulled up and because he was on Twitter was asking who want to play FIFA in Miami, and literally pulled up to one of my friend's house. Ocho is a cool dude.
When you actually, I don't know if you
like a hometown hero too. He's from Liberty City in Florida. He's the best. Yeah, he's actually really good at playing it too. He's really good.
X amount of $100,000, $100,000, $1 million a month. What were you hoping to do in the process of doing that? Did you want to show like, look, you can do it?
When did Shannon get a beard, by the way? I just realized. I'm like, I was like, something look different about Shannon. It's a good beard. Keep the white in your hair, man. It's a good beard.
For as many people that want to hear that. In that moment, I was just tracking the growth.
Yes.
I can see that. Florida, we're real big with soccer. Soccer's like a real big sport down there. Literally, like some people I grew up with played in the World Cup. Shout out to them. They play for other countries. I forgot who my friend played for, but he's from Argentina, but he played for another country. I think it was Ecuador or something like that. I was shocked. I was like, why are you playing for Ecuador? I guess he's from there too. I didn't know.
Ultimately,
Looked like a pearly white boy.
And again, we sharing information. It's not meant to be gatekept.
Let me ask you this. What made you?
I love that. Like I will say about Joe Budden, he doesn't seem to gatekeep information. I will say that about content creation and stuff like that. I will give him that credit. He's a big hater and competitive with other people. He comes from that battle rap era, so he's always in competition with people, and there's always some beef that he has with somebody. He always has to put someone down to prop himself up. He always does that. It's always like, I got the best content. I got the best podcast. I'm blah, 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 blah. You know, that ignorant black shit that we do. We can never just be together and shit. But take that away. He still does give information and does speak a lot of good business sense into people who are trying to do it independent. And I also think that even if you're a person that does sign a deal or does it with a conglomerate or with a company, you can still use a lot of the information he gives. That's one thing I will give him that credit for. Like, I think if I ever blow up to a point to where I need to consider doing a deal with somebody, like a sponsorship deal with somebody, or doing it my own, I can make a better decision just based off of listening to him. So I always got to give him, Joe Budden, that credit for sure. He's opened a lot of people's eyes to like certain business terms. Now, I will be fair, a lot of these terms I know just because I'm not like, I like to read, but at the same time, seeing it in practice makes me understand it more because I'm not a businessman. I've never sold anything. You know, I've never been successful at a business, especially an independent business. You know what I mean? Or even a business that I can even partner with someone. You know, I'm a worker. You know what I mean? I'm a 9-to-5 worker. So I do appreciate when people who have that success do give back and don't hoard information. I do give them that credit.
Decide to go to Patreon. Because there are a lot. I mean, you're on YouTube audio. You got Apple. You got your platform is vast. And so
man,
you got a lot of different people can consume.
I grew up loving Shannon. Like, I'm a football guy. I love football. I grew up loving Shannon. I knew him when he was. I'm pretty sure I watched maybe his last year or so with the Broncos, but I knew him on the Ravens. But I also knew him as commentating back then as well. Shannon Sharp was like, I always loved Shannon. I think the shit he was doing with that white girl was a little weird, but.
Spotify previously.
Okay.
And we had a lot of data that told.
Joe loved them damn hats with all that shit on there.
So at the end of the term, you know, you can listen to all the offers in the field, which we did. We listened to everybody. But ultimately,
is that the Say Less that everyone talks about in New York? Because I've never been there. I've been in New York, of course. Love New York, one of my second homes. But everyone, like, I listen to a lot of podcasts that are based in New York, New Jersey area, and they always talk about like club or like a restaurant or something called Say Less. And in my head, I'm like, maybe that's the name, just Say Less, like as in like Say Less. But I see that it's spelled. Like, you look at the graffiti on the back wall. Didn't even realize that.
where could I?
How many views this guy?
could I be paid
100,000, 7 hours. That's good. That's pretty good.
Celebrating the growth of my own show without having to ask anybody.
Fucking Joe Budden with ASAP got 300,000 in
feel like if you
days.
one of these deals, they were gonna like. Then they feel like they can what Joe Budden can talk about, how Joe Budden can move the show, the growth of the show, because you move as you want to because you are the sole proprietor, you're the sole owner of the show. So if you want to add somebody under your umbrella, I can do that without having to ask for permission.
Well, you know what?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Anybody we partnered with, they never really tampered with the creative.
Yes.
Isn't that right? But when you're just learning, right? And at every turn, what I was learning about how podcasters would be paid and how advertising worked and CPMs and all of this other shit, I never jived with any of it.
Right.
Let Unk be a freak. I just saw that, dog. I wish that's all he was doing. If he was just being a freak, he would have been fine with me.
Kind of have my own say in things. So
You know me. I don't judge.
Complex negotiating the
Because I'm a freak. I ain't really a freak. I'm lying. I'm lying. I ain't really freaky like that.
Contract is as much as I'd be able to participate.
I'm just a fucker. I just fuck.
My participation.
Correct.
I fuck good, but I don't do all that extra shit.
Because you doing all the work, you doing all the ad reads. People want to hear Joe Budden. They want to hear your voice. It's not the same as them just implanting it in there. They want to hear Joe read that.
And that's the part that often gets like twisted up when I say that. This is only applicable if your replacement list is like short, because they can always replace you.
Correct.
They can always replace you. Yes. But I mean,
Great point by Joe right there, actually. That's a great point. I never actually heard Joe say that before, but yeah, I actually not agree, but I respect that point.
Right.
Well, we were
That's a real point.
One of two, and then we got bunched in with all of these thousands of shows that y'all shopped and came back and spread out that doesn't jive. I don't jive.
Right.
I don't jive with that.
You're the most popular.
I don't jive with that.
You're the most popular. You're the biggest. But you want us, these other mini shows, yeah, you give us a tiny bump, but it's not, this is not market. I want to be market. I want to be a free agent, because free agency is I can get what the market bears and not just bunched in.
Oh shit!
Because
Trying to fix my damn.
Well, and now you're taking it.
It's always a snow bunny. That's my problem, man. I love a white woman, man. I think white women are beautiful, all the whole nine. You know what I mean? Like, and I think if you find a good one that, like, you know, I think my thing is I can't deal with a white woman who. I have to, if I'm dealing with a white woman, it has to be a white woman that looks at black people, black men, or black people as more than an object of sex. I think that's the problem that arises. Like black women, like these white women don't like black men, but they like to have sex with them.
No, not on Patreon. On Patreon,
I don't think I could deal with men who has animosity towards black people but like me because I'm different. You know what I mean? Like I've dealt with women where it's like white women where it's like I'm more safe. I'm more safe to be around maybe their parents because I speak properly and I'm knowledgeable about politics, or not necessarily just politics, but just I'm knowledgeable about stuff and like I come off well. Oh shit! Just fucked my whole thing up.
So I'm asking, I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna talk about? There's like, and CJ was like, well, call the most famous people in your phone and ask if they would really be willing to come on the show. Now, at that time, there was no in-person, so we had to do everything virtually. Hell, I had Floyd Mayweather, had Snoop Dogg, had Ice Cube, had Rick Ross, had this one and that one. And so that's how I started. But I was like, this ain't nothing. He said, no, there's money in it. I said, well, they ain't tell me nothing about no money. They just say I need to do this because it was written in my contract.
And they wouldn't.
And so, but I did go back. I said, look, if I ain't say CJ because CJ was an employee of Fox, so I didn't want to get him in trouble. I said, but I think there's money in this. The only person I knew that was getting money in podcasting was Joe Rogan at the time because he was so big.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know, Joe Rogan. So
you never dated a white girl? Oh, it's cool.
And then once you start doing it, and you
I think it's nice, man. You got to date a white woman one day.
Hold on. There's the YouTube.
I'm not saying I don't like a specific race of women really. If I had to choose, I would say that I like black women more, like just on average.
as you said, that was not
I
something
think a fine black woman is finer than every like fine version of every other girl, but like fine is still fine. So it's like at the same time, it's like I don't really have like a crazy preference or nothing like that.
I'm never looking to just take the money up front.
Okay.
We would have advanced conversations in the background. Right. I'm not saying that no deal can get done without me.
I had to buy this tool just to fix one of my guitars because I bought a guitar that was it wasn't used. It was a display one. It was a guitar that was like at Guitar Center. You know, it was a guitar that wasn't played much there. It's clean and all that. It had a little chip on it though, so it must have failed. So I saw it and I was like, ooh. So I got like a discount on it. I was so happy. I was like, oh good, I got a discount on it. And it's a guitar. It's a guitar I used to have, and like it was my very first guitar. And like I didn't care that it was a Squire or a cheaper guitar because I need it. Yeah, Middle Eastern can count because a lot of Middle Easterns are white. They're all white Middle Eastern people.
But it does today. It's stigmatized. They do tend to hear that word and kind of just put it compartmentalized.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Own space.
Because a lot of the big, like A-list celebs, they look at podcasts like that ain't no real TV show. But if you look at Netflix is starting to get involved in podcasting. You saw Amazon get involved.
More
in
tools.
Podcasting. You see these big conglomerates. Listen, if it wasn't what is growing, they ain't wasting no time with.
Long before Netflix, some of the shows that
this is the guitar I got. It's Telecaster. This is the very first guitar I ever had. This is a newer version of it, though. I will say it's a newer version, but it's the same color. It's a lot nicer than the one I had. It's a Squire. It's a simple one, but it's a lot nicer. But when I was playing it, the high E made a rattle sound. And this was the chip that I got. It was a little chip. I was a little worried about the plug-ins because if it falls right there, I'm like, damn, that's a bad spot for it to fall. But I kind of like damage on my guitars. I don't really care. But it's still really clean and glossy and perfect. Still keep it clean, but yeah, it's really nice. But the very first guitar I had to sell it because I'm still poor, but I had to sell it because I needed to pay for rent that month. So sold it, and I wish I kept it because you always want to keep your first guitar ever. But I can't go back and get it because I sold it to a person. Oh, I pause it. I sold it to a person, so it's like, damn, I can't find that person. I sold it to a random person to offer up. But yeah, so I got this the other day. Got it for, I'll say, like, it was originally, I forgot the original price, but ended up getting it for like $200 after taxes, which was really good to get it for $200 after taxes, mainly because of that little chip. But everywhere else is like really clean. But like, man, I had the rattle, and I've never like repaired a guitar. I was thinking about actually going to just get a full setup on this, but it didn't need that crazy of a setup, really. Now that I'm looking at it, now I think the fretboard down here could get a little smooth out a little bit, because it's a little, like the low E gets stuck on there a little bit, but I don't really go down with my high E. See, like now it's stuck. Now I gotta like pull it out. It's like stuck in the fret. But hold up. I heard a rattle again. Hold up. See? No. It really only rattles if I like slap it like I'm fucking doing a bass. But yeah, I got it again. This was like my favorite looking guitar ever. Even to this day, like it's just the best looking guitar to me. This color, this shape is just the best guitar to me. Because it's the first one I ever played. Like the first acoustic, not acoustic, but first electric. I had an acoustic before. No, actually, no, I don't think I did. I think I literally had this first. I can't wait. My goal, and this is once I get like much better at guitar, because I'm just starting again to play. I'm okay, but I'll just starting again. I'm really learning the scales, all that shit. My goal is to get a legitimate Fender Telecaster that looks exactly like this, just so because that's just the guitar. That's just the one. if I were to create a signature guitar in the future, it will be some variation of this colorway. I'll probably do some special design on the pick guard, same color, like darker color. Probably do something special. Probably implement this strap some way in there. You know, just do something that's a little different. But yeah, this is like, and it's, I don't know, it's definitely not my most expensive guitar. I don't really have like a super expensive guitar. I have guitars that are like around like $400, $500, $500 price range, but nothing like crazy. And I didn't spend that money for it. You know, I got some used stuff. And yeah, you know, just proud. But yeah, I fixed the rattle in here. Just had to adjust the truss rod. Literally all I did, but I never did that before. So that shit was a little rough. But I spent $26 buying the truss rod adjuster. That saved me $125 for a setup. But I probably get a setup. But I'm gonna learn how to set up shit myself. That's my goal. Is to learn how to upgrade guitars myself. That's the biggest goal for me in the future. Learn how to add different pickups and whatnot. I know it's like, it's weird that's nerd talk, but it's like I've like listened to so much that I'm like, damn, I didn't know a lot of these terms. So it's like I realized that like the average person don't know some of these terms. I'm like, damn, that's kind of crazy. There's like a whole other world out there. But yeah, I just wanted to show it off because I was really excited about it. It's really nice tour. But yeah, this is beautiful. And if I were to get a custom, I would definitely get like a darker neck on here just to see what it looks like. But yeah, I did play like a brand new Fender. I think it was a Player Series 2. Sounded amazing, but this still I'm able to get good sound out of this. I'm really learning how to like adjust and you know, create good sound you know, settings and stuff like that on my computer. And I got this Fender Mustang amp, like really just curating like a specific sound on these. I'm actually doing a pretty good job doing. Just clean that off again. Keep these on there. Here's my other guy. This thing I ended up spending less money on this than that, but on paper this is more expensive. It's Epiphone Les Paul standard from 2016. This can run you. Oh, let me look. Okay, I ain't got nothing, no crazy links there. Just for safety. 2016. We probably gonna watch the whole Shannon thing. I'm probably gonna try to skip around some topics on there. 2016 Les Paul standard. Can I like copy? Boom. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, I just write it here. There we go. I don't know why the history part popped up, but okay, it looks like I found it. Yes, I actually did find it. There's no. But yeah, this is the cheapest one I can find right here, which is $329. And obviously that would cost more with tax and shipping and all that stuff. But for this I got it for, and it just had little dings, little dings. And I got to see it. I saw it in person first. I actually like looked at it. Got to play it a little bit. It was at a pawn shop. Vegas has really a lot of pawn shops and some decent, really good ones too. But yeah, Vegas had a pawn shop and I got to see it. They had an amp there, thankfully, so I got to test it out. It sounded great. All of the knobs work well. I'm sure I do want to get a setup done on this just to make sure all the electronics are working as well. The pickups are good. I tested those out. Fretboard needed some cleaning, which I, polished the fretboard, got that cleaned up. Just all, all the things you want to do. I know this is such a side little tangent, but yeah, just I was really happy with this. This is my first Les Paul. I never really played Les Paul. You know what I mean? Before, I've literally never played them, even when I gone to Guitar Centers in the past. And Sam Ash is where I used to go. Actually, I never actually went to Guitar Center growing up like that. I used to play guitars in Sam Ash, and I would play them in Best Buy. Actually, Best Buy had a lot of them, which is actually where I got my first guitar from. Was at Best Buy, which that no longer sell instruments there, but yeah, man, I really cleaned it off really well, actually. Also, the tuners on here are fantastic. I could play a long time without having to retune it, tune the guitar. It's very heavy. It's very heavy. I mean, but Les Pauls are heavy. Every Les Paul I've grabbed are heavy. See? It's always really weird. I never knew this because I didn't play many different type of guitars. It's literally just been the only guitars I played in the past are just literally Telecasters, classic single coil lipstick pickup combination Telecaster. That's all I've ever played growing up, younger. And acoustic, of course, acoustic guitar, which I still have. My Fender acoustic is very cheap, but very good price. I mean, it's not cheap as in the quality. It's really good. Got some nice strings in there. Sounds really good. Cleaned the fretboard, polished that one up. That one is beautiful. My mom bought that for Christmas one year, and I still cherish that one. That's my other favorite. That's one that I'm happy that I have, because my other one broke before that. It's not my first acoustic, but it's one of my first nicer ones, But yeah, this right here has been my favorite though for a while, because it's the double humbucker pickups on here, which is very similar to the humbuckers in the DG 335, which I'm a big fan of Dave Grohl, and I love his guitar so much. So it kind of gives me a lot of sound. So any Foo Fighters songs I can play, I play it on here, and it sounds great. It's nice to kind of achieve the same, try to get close to the tone, but that's also what I'm learning. I love this one. This one is great. It's a step above the Special, so it actually has the what is that? The pearl cuts there. I don't know what those are called. Whatever. All right. I accidentally played this other. Let's see if hopefully it's loud enough. I'm gonna learn the rest of the song, but I played it while I was messing around, and I was like, oh wait, that sounds like. I'm sure it's not the same key and all that shit, but I have to go back. Oh. That's the closest I got, but I saw that. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh shit. That's how you do it. But that wasn't drop D tuning. But yeah, I love this damn thing. It's definitely helping me get better at playing, because it's every time I come home, I just see them and I just want to pick them up, play them. This amp is called the Mustang LT25. It's $160 or something like that. Seems pretty pricey for a kind of small amp, but it produces pretty good sound. It's good for just in your room, in your house. If you can have it low if you need to, but it's also really good. It comes with 30 presets of different amp sounds and digital, so it's different. It's like plugging it into a computer. Like I can plug it into my computer and achieve a lot of the same sounds, but it's better to actually just not have to turn on my laptop and do all this stuff and plug it into my interface. Just makes it simple, and you really can just plug and play. I would suggest it. Not sponsored, but I would suggest it. As a person who's just trying to learn, you can even plug your headphones into the amp, which I'm sure you can probably do on a lot of amps, but this amp is a really good amp to do that with, because then you can hear the highest quality of it and really jam in your room. As long as you got like a solid body that isn't that loud, like this. That's actually a lot louder than I thought it would. But like that's pretty good. Yeah, sit that down right now. Then I have this. This is for me. I don't know. I wanted a hollow body, and I was looking at a lot of like old blues players. Sinners is really something that's inspired me as well. Like recently, like to just want to play, and like want to get back into playing. Because obviously, like I said, I played when I was younger, and then like kind of didn't take a break, but just wasn't playing consistently at all. Finished the Shield today. I never seen that show. Did you watch Fallout, by the way? Did you watch Fallout? I don't want to spoil it. Did you watch Fallout yet? What tuning am I in? Damn, bro, the ending, like if you're feeling like Fallout season 2 is kind of getting a little, I guess, slow, or like it feels like dragging on a little bit, or even like it's like what, like shit's just moving too fast. This episode, they were able to, like, because there were some parts of the show that I'm not gonna lie just weren't that interesting to me. I still love the show overall, and the acting and the performances and the story, but it was just like a lot of stuff that was just like you know what I mean? I was like on a lot of stuff, but like, man, they pulled it all together, and like the finale was fantastic. Like I feel like it's kind of the opposite of Peacemaker, but not as strong as not as like extreme. Like Peacemaker season 2, every episode was fire. I couldn't wait week to week to watch it. And then the finale came out and it was horrible, and I was just like, I was kind of bummed out. Even though the lead up to the new Superman movie was kind of cool, I'm excited for that coming up, but I was still like bummed out because of how it ended. This was like, the whole season was like, it's the opposite. Even though I liked every episode, it was like, all right, slow. Okay, when is this gonna happen? Okay, where is this going? It was like some of that, like some of the decisions that were being made, I wasn't enjoying that much. I still was enjoying the show because I just love being in that Fallout world. It feels like when I'm playing the game, so I think they accomplished that really well. But once this finale happened, I was like, oh, they do a really good job. The Shield, really great show. Strike Team using dirty tactics, Street, keep the peace. I don't know. I check it out. I don't really like cop shows like that. I'm not a big fan of them. I think the type of cop shows I do like, True Detective, that's a really good show. The first season, at least, that was the best. But yeah, I bought this one. I bought this one because I wanted to get an electric. I didn't have any electrics at the time. I wanted to get an electric because I was like, you know what, I'm about to get back into playing this year, this 2026. I was like, I'm gonna get back into playing guitar. I'm gonna learn more stuff. I'm gonna learn more, like learn more technical aspects of it. Really get just get involved with the fretboard. You know what I mean? Like learn the fretboard. Like the way I can like play piano kind of freely, I want to be able to play guitar, you know, and learn it, but like actually learn it a little bit more on paper. Like I'm learning a lot with it, but I also wanted something that was like acoustic that I can just play like straight up. See, loud enough, but it's also something that like I can plug in, you know, it's an electric as well, you know. I can plug in. Sounds good. You got to worry about a little feedback sometimes, just because this is a full hollow body right here, a real full hollow. Hey, you recognize the melody. Love it. This is not like they do have the semi hollows that a lot of the 335s are and shit like that. They have those that don't have as much feedback, but you know. I finally learned. I don't know why it took me so long. I never tried, but like I finally like learned how to how to like wiggle that shit. I never like. I don't know why I never learned that, but I am learning like different techniques and songs. I was really mainly just trying to learn chords. Like, how do you play it? How you play it again? I don't remember. Oh. Oh, I gotta do it like this. It's better if I do it like this. I learned this the other day. It's like the simplest song. Something is. I figured it out. I just learned it yesterday, but yeah, you know, I'm like. This is like the main. This is the main focus. I am making other music though. I am making music. I am still using my piano. I'm still working on an album that I have like ideas for. But I think that this is actually inspiring me to create new stuff. I have a song that I'm gonna start here and then finish with the piano. Let me tune this right. I don't know where my damn tuner is. There we go. Tuning it from ear, man. But yeah, this is like, well, this is like live, but so it would technically count. I can't. It's a simple melody, so I'm gonna start the song with. That's the start of it. I have the rest, but I don't feel like playing it. But yeah, I'm gonna make a song from that at some point, just to be like, oh, just to knock out my very first song that started on the guitar. I've always created all my other stuff through my piano, because piano is I know how to play piano. That's the one instrument that I got. I'm like, oh, I can just pick this up, play a little bit, have a little fun. Give me the key, let me start it off, let me play around. That's the goal for this. I'm trying to get to the place where it's like, okay, what key is this in? Find out the key and then be able to just kind of like riff and freestyle and stuff. That's what I'm trying to get to at the very least. You know, because I'm still having fun no matter what. I'm still gonna love learning how to play new songs and other songs and shit like that. But that's the main thing. Get there, because piano I can kind of do that. I still want to get better at doing that at piano as well. You know, but yeah, just I love music so much, so I'm just like having a blast playing. That's the main thing. But yeah. Why do I got my sock in here? What the fuck, yo? My damn dog got my damn sock in their cage. Anyway, I gotta keep my socks off the floor, but you know. But yeah, that was my little ADD moment. But yeah, I won't talk about Fallout. All I will say is that I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Yes. But oh shit, also, I got a Stratocaster coming in. I bought it. It was on sale. It was crazy. So it was on sale because it was, I don't know if it was because it was missing a string, but it was on sale. It was super cheap. And I was just like, I played it. I was like, let me play it, because I'm like, there has to be something wrong. I had them check it out and they said, no, it doesn't seem like there's any issues with it. It was missing the high E string. So I was like, I actually have like brand new strings somewhere that I haven't used. I was going to use it on my Les Paul, but I was like, I don't want to use that type of graded string on my Les Paul. And plus, like the strings that are on there are really good, which is crazy. Which either someone may have changed them before they sold it to the pawn shop or whatever. But yeah, that one seems to have been set up pretty well, which is just a fucking miracle. I did do some adjustments, of course, myself, just to try some different stuff out. But yeah, I don't know. Man, I'm like over here just yapping. But oh shit. Yeah, I'm gonna be right back. I'm about to grab me a snack real quick. I'll be right back. But let's see. Oh, I gotta like find like maybe I'm gonna just duplicate this so I don't have to change that right away every time. But I'm gonna just play some background music and I'll be right back. I'm trying to make these like longer streams. Like I'm trying to make them a little bit more like, you know what I mean, a little bit more like make sense, like possible. You know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it, but make them like make sense so I can do this all the time. But I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm back. Turn that off. We back. Okay, let me turn that off now. I'm gonna skip through to see if there's some like some skips. There's no skips. Damn, nigga. He really be wanting y'all to make the whole thing. Let's see. See if they got any like. Maybe it just came out, so there's no like chapter marks. No one did any. I guess it's like 2 hours long, so people probably ain't even listened to the whole thing yet. Damn, I kind of wanna.
All you do is work, and so when they come, I'm sure you've heard it. They come to you, man. Got this idea, want a podcast. I say, so how often you want to do it? Well, I just want to shoot like 10, 12 episodes a year.
You know what? We'll listen. We'll listen. Let's just. Well, I'll listen until like if I don't feel like listening anymore, that's what we do.
But you want how much?
That part. How much money do you want for those 10 episodes?
It is. I'm like, bro.
That's why I don't even know how to like give advice anymore because I do it week to week, different podcasts.
Yeah.
Call, and we have the talk. But sometimes those talks are a brother on episode 8 saying, well, where's the money at and how do I get paid? And I'm like, it may be a path for that, but that wasn't my way.
No.
I did this for years for free. A lot of that, I did this when a lot of the thoughts and ideas.
It's another one of those things. Another one of those things why I respect Joe.
Wait for everybody to catch up. We had to wait for the ad agencies to catch up. We had to. So yeah, I don't know how to. Get paid
we watch it with Pop.
I don't.
Right. There is no money in episode 8.
Joe ain't gonna drink none. I don't even think Joe drink alcohol.
There's a pathway. Everybody's getting in, and so it's becoming a very saturated market now. So you got to be
like I actually never realized. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I ever seen like Joe Budden drink alcohol.
big name, you know.
He was a crackhead, but I don't think he did alcohol. I'm being facetious when I say crackhead, by the way. I mean
The first 3 or
he's
4 episodes, but then
he used to do dust and other drugs.
because that's the hard part, Joe, is getting people don't listen. Man, Joe Budden, I'm gonna see what Joe talking about. Can you get him to come back? Can you get him to come back again?
Listen,
and
we've seen a million A-list celebrities start podcasts or make the big podcast announcement or go get a big bag and never deliver an episode.
Nope.
Not a one. I've seen them get fired. I've seen them. They're not. To be a podcaster, still to be a podcaster. Like you could count on the Joe Budden podcast to drop twice a week, 52 weeks out the year.
For the most part.
I'm going to be there.
Right.
And they're not going to be polluted with ad breaks.
Headline game, you're playing the stock game. You had no intention of doing that.
Especially when Kobe came out, Joe.
Oh my Lord.
Because there was really nothing. The studios couldn't shoot, but we got to get something out. Hey, Joe, we got this big. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Joe had a podcast. I thought Joe was going to drop.
I will always give Shannon a thing.
They took the money and ran.
He's still Club Shay.
Bro, it's a grind.
Still makes headlines. There's still clips I see pop up, even after the scandal. So he's good at maintaining. I will say.
Just show up and just shoot. No, you got a rundown. We got a direction in which we want to go. We got to get in and out. We got to direct traffic.
Yeah.
It's not that simple. But when people don't see how the food is made, they think it's easy to cook. But if you watch your grandmother or your aunt or your mom cook, you realize that plate ain't just getting on the table in 20 minutes.
She's been prepping this.
Yes.
She's been prepping this food.
Yeah, all night.
You're absolutely right.
And then you really took it to a next level. You're like, you know what? I'm going to have my own ad team. I'm not going to rely on some of the others that have advertisers that they come to you, and by the time it gets to you, you getting 60%, as opposed to like, you know what? I hire my own.
I'm going to start skipping some of this.
And
coming out, I wouldn't promo it. And when I would listen to
I don't really like
podcasts,
seeing podcasters talk about
and
podcasting
an
too
ad would
much.
pop up, I didn't
Only because I've
really
seen almost
want
all the
to
conversation to
like
be
that.
had.
I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the conversation.
Especially
which I
Joe.
thought was extremely important at the time. So
Yes.
for this check, and I tried at first, and I'm talking, this is around 2015, 2016.
Damn.
2015, 2016. I tried again, Shannon, nobody knew where money was coming from
Right.
in podcasting. So if this ad came for whatever the money was, it was shorts. But the thinking was, if you pack in a bunch of those, you can see how you make some money. I did the ads. I f***ed them all up. Whatever the read.
The
was,
classic,
totally
the
off.
classic
Yeah.
me undies.
Told them to call me instead. I think it was Talkspace or somebody. It was a mess.
Oh, I remember that one. He's like,
From there again, how I moved was because the audience was so large and it was growing year over year. So I mean, it was cheaper to just hoe around and add yourself to death versus nurturing a relationship with a brand that you understood, that understood you. And again, maybe this is trauma from black people and how I view the word shock jock, right? Because you'll participate in all the success, but anytime something happens off script, you're so quick to toss us to the side, put all types of words.
That's
in
real.
contracts.
That's
I
real.
Never jived with that.
Right.
I never jived with that. So, nah, I forgot where I was.
Yeah, no, but you were saying that why you decided to like do your own. You have your
back
own
to the ads. So yeah, and we were blessed enough to have some really good partnerships with some people for years and years and years, and it was
Cultivate
profitable for both sides, and you meet good people, and you do this thing. You start to do it, and you start to reap the benefits of the independent company that's out here putting in the work versus the ads team, the sales team. And then that's always the thing too. This whatever your beef is with whoever you partnered with, at some point they're gonna put it on the sales team if you start having the right conversations. It's like, all right, let me come talk to the sales team.
Right.
Then let's have a conversation. Let me get on the phone with some of these people.
Right.
And yeah, but edgy content.
The big game is almost here, and there's
no.
Get on the football.
No.
For the community popular operation, our picks.
No.
Let's keep it going.
See, now, for the record, if I'm watching someone else's content, right, I am typically going to allow that ad to play because I want to make sure, because that right there was already in the content. That's a recorded ad by him. It's not like a YouTube ad that, it's not ad revenue. That was like a completely different. That was an ad read, which is different, Even though it came in like that, I know there's kind of a blurred line today, especially with like Apple. We listen to a podcast, they just place ad breaks here and there, and they're like to your algorithm. But me personally, I want to make it clear, I don't support gambling and gambling sites. So for me, a Prize Picks ad, which that's a brand, I said the name, I'm not like gonna not say the name. You see the branding under his name down there with Playmaker and all that stuff. I just personally do not support gambling sites or gambling companies or anything like that. I don't. So I just want to be clear. That's why I skipped that. Usually I will let the ad read play, but not that.
Because it's really good. And then you understood, well, that's how they make money.
Yeah.
And people are like, man, you running all these ads. I say, so how do you think a graphics team and a producer and an editor and so
The ad right there.
down on some of the costs? But
They had an ad conversation and then he puts an ad there.
Make a successful podcast. It costs money.
You goddamn right. You better be willing. You got to believe in yourself. You
got to
have to invest in yourself. Yeah, you have to make it work.
Since the Joe Budden is like taking off, is gone into another stratosphere. Have you been able to
Stratosphere.
yourself?
Stratosphere.
I mean, maybe a new whip, bigger house out in Jersey. I know you like watches.
I'm not so much into the watches like that.
I can't tell.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I see you now. Not recently, no.
Yeah.
Not recently. not recently. I did that a few years ago.
Yeah.
Went out and bought the Ferrari and then bought the whatever.
Yeah.
Got the new
I
teeth.
did that. I had a year of cars. I don't drive.
Right.
I got my chauffeur. It's just like, okay.
You gotta drive. You got somebody to drive. It's like, why am I buying these cars to sit up in the garage?
I mean, and I love my cars. I love my truck. But I did it, felt good. I'm off now.
Over and done
I'm
with
in the
that.
process of maybe building my home.
Dream home.
Yeah, I'm in the process of that. That's exciting and a headache, but exciting.
Yeah. It's funny how like Spotify say, Joe, we got $2 million for you. You know, do your podcast over here, $2 million. You're like, oh. And I think you stayed. We was with Spotify for like a year.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
And that 2 years seemed like so much.
And it's not that they would have given it to me.
But
It's not that they would have given it to me.
Yes. You gotta.
That's not my concern. Gotta ask it. You gotta ask it.
All they gotta do is say no.
Let them say no.
Yeah.
Let them say no.
Cause you hear these stories of Beyonce performing for Uber.
What was that? Was that a Cartier or Hublot? I can't tell.
She's like, nah, can I have equity?
Or is that that's a Patek?
Boom.
I think he got a Patek on.
Same thing. Boom.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, when them deals gonna happen to me?
Look like they both got on
They
Pateks.
should be happening for you.
But you know that's.
It looks like they got them on the same watch.
Is that early on, we didn't know what we didn't know.
Yeah.
Now we know, we can ask. You know, all they can do is say, nah, we're just I was like, okay. Like you said, I ain't turning down no big check.
Yeah.
But I got at least asked to take a little smaller version if I can get a cut of the equity in the growth of the company. Because we both believe. You believe in me. I believe in you.
This is so much popcorn.
Participate. Let's grow together.
Yeah, and it's.
I would end up eating the entire thing if I like just sat here.
We passed proof of concept stage. I'm done convincing people.
This
what's
tastes
gonna
better than
happen.
like movie theater
Like,
popcorn.
I've seen what happens too many times.
Not really. I'm lying.
Compare this podcast with this company. I know what's going to happen. So no, if you don't understand what's going to happen, and you're not willing to pay for what's going to happen, then you can't participate in what's going to happen. It's the same way the other way around.
When did you realize you were underpaid? How did you realize you were underpaid? And you decided to leave and go your
And you know what? And I'm gonna say complex, but money was never the
That's a good point.
driving force, which is
That's a very good question, actually. How do you even know? Because especially like once you reach a certain level of like financial stability, right? I don't know. I never reached that point where I'm just making so much money that I'm like rich or anything. So I'm speaking from a broke nigga perspective. But how do you know once you're making $400,000+ a year, right? Let's say that's the baseline, the lowest tier, right? How do you know that that's not your worth? You know, like how do you know that? Like, you would really need some data to really like see like, okay, what income am I generating? What like my product? Like, I mean, what income is my product generating? That would be my biggest question. That's why like I really understand the Rory and Mal conundrum with Joe. Do I think Joe is blatantly stealing? Maybe. Only reason I say that is because of the way he acted afterward, of course. He kind of acted sketchy. So it's like anytime you act sketchy with money, odds are you're probably doing something immoral with it. That's in my opinion. I don't know. I can't say for certain. That's why I don't put that on him. If that's not, but they wanted to see accounting, which basically they wanted to see what was this company generating? What was this podcast generating for the network of the Joe Budden podcast? Which, in my opinion, I think is genius. You have your podcast, which is the nucleus of everything. You started that with Rory. Rory was there, day one. Obviously, Mal comes in. The podcast becomes more than just a Joe Budden fan thing. People to listen to the podcast after Maul got there. I remember I was there before Maul got there. I was listening when Marissa Mendez was there. Love Marissa Mendez. Shout out to Marissa Mendez. That was one person that I would love to just have a conversation with on podcast or stream. And just, I think she's really cool. And she's a pioneer in podcast, one of the female pioneers in podcasting who doesn't get any credit because of Joe. You know, the way Joe ousted her was very disrespectful. But they didn't start listening to that. So in my opinion, if I'm Joe, I'm putting myself in his shoes and I create this thing, I'm the name recognition that even gets this buzzing. Yes, I should get a bigger percentage, right? I would look at it that way. But my guys need to get their percentages and they need to get their just due as well. And that's going to be established early on, which they said they established a percentage, which is a 3-way split. It wouldn't be a 3-way split. It would be I'm majority, y'all get a piece, because it's still my name. I started this. This is my idea. This is my IP. Now you own part of this IP because you came and helped me along the way. Like in Joe's situation, because Joe is the draw to the podcast. Everyone loves Joe. No matter how good other people are, it's always because of Joe is the baseline, the nucleus. I'm cutting them in, but I'm also letting them know how much we're generating money-wise. But it was smart of him to be like, okay, they might have in court, they might have some say in some of the shit. If they take it to court, they might be able to get certain privileges. But if I create the Joe Budden Network, and that, I'm sure the Joe Budden Network, I'm sure they didn't have any equity in that. If I'm assuming, this is all assumptions and none of this is like the truth. I'm going to do this and spend money to produce other stuff that I'm generating from this show, but I'm taking off the top. So you get the scraps at the end. So it's like, but I'm gonna pay y'all handsome. So if everyone complains, I'll just be like, I paid them this much a month, $40,000 a month, which is what the rumor was or something like that, which is a lot of fucking money. But they probably were entitled to more because the show with Mandy and Bridget Kelly was whack and no one watched that shit. The one with Karen Civil, I'm surprised that wasn't bigger because Karen Civil is like a known person, and I mean she's highly respected by some people think she's a scammer. I don't know, I don't put that on people. I like her. I like all the work that she's done with like Wayne and shit like that. I think Nikki too, but I don't know if she worked with Nikki anymore. But yeah,
how we all end up underpaid because we're doing it for the love and the look.
Yes.
It was that complex again. I was inquisitive.
could have been a media, like a media, like powerhouse if they kept Joe.
The Joe Budden, we're gonna take up the umbrella.
I actually think Joe would be bigger if they were able to come to an agreement. I think Joe would have like more legit. I think Joe could have had, and this is no way diss to anything that Charlamagne got going on. But in my opinion, I think Joe could have had what Charlamagne has with iHeart, with Complex. You know what I mean? If they wanted to play ball, I think iHeart, for example, respects. I think iHeart respects Charlamagne way more than Complex respected Joe. And I know it was early on, but it's like I would go turn on Complex every fucking morning. I would have that shit in my phone playing, watching Joe and Academics and Nadeska talk about anything. There was a point where it's like, yo, you're a morning show just like the Breakfast Club, and you are pulling in more attention and clips going viral all the time. Like it was legitimately like a platform that I was like, this is the new morning radio. And it had the opportunity to kind of like, it wouldn't have ever like took Breakfast Club or Hot 97 off the chessboard because they're under conglomerates, but it was the premier thing. It had the boisterous guys, which was Academics and Joe, both in different ways. Academics was more humble back then. And you had Nadeska, who was a great moderator and just she just came off really well. She's highly respected. Anybody I've known people who know her personally, they say good things about her. And I was like, oh wow, that's you didn't even have to say that. Like, you know, especially, you know, So I assume that she had a lot of respect, and she's with Apple now, like she's doing great. But like I thought that would have been that was easy, like that was easy work right there. But Complex is a incompetent organization. Even I don't know what they're doing now, but I think some of the stuff they're doing is a little bit better. They're finding ways to go viral again. The sneaker shit is kind of whack. I used to love the sneaker shows on there with fucking Trinidad James, fucking Matt Welty, and Eric, Brendan Dunn. I almost said Eric Dunn. Eric Dunn is the Vine guy, but Brendan Dunn. I thought that show was great. Then they had the one with Joe LaPuma, and now Brendan Dunn is not even there, and he was like probably my favorite sneaker person on Complex. Not in general, but just on Complex. All right.
We're gonna give you X amount of dollars.
Don't skip it.
They enjoy doing just as much, if not more.
If not more. Yeah.
You and I have been very, very blessed. A whole lot of people aren't blessed like that, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, don't try to trick me into saying some shit.
No, but they're not.
It's true. It's true.
But
listen,
go ahead.
As much as eggs cost, to have a job, as much as
buying me a couple of hens of myself.
No, honestly. And if you're living in New York is expensive. New York is
Another thing, I always have to, like, the criticism I have, I always have criticism, but I always have to give props where props is due. Joe's personality on this podcast, when anytime I listen to it, it's like, oh, you niggas is broke, you guys are brokey, that's some poor people shit. Obviously, a lot of that stuff is said in jest and jokingly, but one thing I always respect about Joe is his understanding of, like, people who aren't as fortunate and staying, like, not coming off as detached. Maybe in real life he's detached because it's like, yeah, I'm rich, he's rich, you know what I mean? But he isn't like he never like seems to like distant, like he never seems to forget that there are people struggling. I say the same thing for Charlemagne as well. These guys are wealthy guys, but they always do go back and mention like the lesser of people, like the people who are going through it. Like him just having the perspective to even like, man, in this economy, just having a job is a good thing. Which I am one of those people. I believe that. I'm like, bruh. Yes, you can want more and you should fight. You should get more, but you also have to be very aware of like the time that we're in. One. You also have to be humble enough to be like, I need to accept this. I need to do this job. I need to go here. I need to wake up every day and do this because I could easily not have this and things would be 1,000 times worse. That doesn't mean you still don't strive for more. But I do appreciate him saying that.
New Jersey, it is criminal what the is going on out here.
I just left California after 8 years. You ain't gonna tell me nothing.
Man, oh my Lord.
Oh, so, Shannon getting money now. He's not with ESPN.
Yourself and shelter yourself.
Oh, he probably moved. He probably moved down to Florida.
Then you're blessed.
No state tax.
In a different way.
Yeah.
I ain't never played state tax in my life.
That's not the norm.
No.
That's not the norm, and I'm not even gonna sit here and pitch it like it is.
For the longest time, YouTube was the only really space that podcasts lived. And they're still big with the ads.
All right, YouTube. See, this is the why I don't like the urban community's perspective on podcasts. It's the same thing that's happening with streaming right now, where, and I hate to say urban, but like when like the average, I don't even know how to say it the right way. When the average like nigga, I'll say it like that. When niggas get onto shit, they like, it's a specific type of nigga. The low hanging fruit niggas is the best way I can describe it. And this is a criticism I have for everybody too. Like, this is not just us, but I'm only speaking us because I don't even care about us. And, you know, this is us. But podcasting becomes a thing, right? Podcasting is a huge thing back in the day. It starts off, you have the Joe Rogans, you have the Bill Simmons, you have the Neil Brennan had a podcast back in the day, but then you had the Combat Jackson, these type of things, and it's not really seen as like a medium, you know what I mean, until certain podcasts start to blow up, start making money, like things go viral, then podcasts become a thing, right? COVID helped with that. So everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna make a podcast and make some money. Oh, I'm gonna make a podcast, make some money. We're gonna do a podcast. And then everyone just get on a podcast, they sit on the couch, just say the dumbest shit in the world to try to go viral and don't really have any substantive conversations. But they don't really have knowledge of the medium that they're trying to get into. You know what I mean? Like streaming right now. A lot of people in our community, hip hop community, I'll say hip hop instead of urban, but like the hip hop community, us, you know, a lot of the exposure to streaming, it starts with Kai Cenat, right? A lot of people don't know nothing about Twitch or anything, and then it's Kai Cenat, right? Which I like Kai. For the most part, I don't like some of the things he's done and said. But like, you know, neither here nor there. I think overall he's a pretty decent guy. He doesn't really do too much stuff like on stream that I think is that bad. He may be too loud or something, but like he's not as bad as somebody. He's not just Shay Frost. He's not Rakai or nothing like that. He's not one of those guys who are just cooning on, you know, just, you know, eating fried chicken and cooning and dancing basically. Kai definitely has that in him, like the yelling and being extra, but like his shit is much more positive on the surface, right? I don't know who he is in real life. Oh shit, I forgot where I was going with it. But yeah, that's the exposure to streaming is that. So everyone look, and then they start seeing that Kai has a lot of streams. Like how many subscribers? Oh, and then they start counting the money. They start seeing like, oh, Kai is making a lot of money, and then they'll say something like, because in their head they think streaming was just people gaming and being gamers and making money from gaming. They'll be like, oh shit, he's making a lot of money on here, all just to sit down in front of a computer, right? That's like a lot of people's perspective on it. They don't really understand streaming because they're not the viewer. And then now you get polluted on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, whatever it is, and TikTok even now, where it's just a bunch of people sitting in front of a computer doing whatever they can to go viral, be famous, all this type of shit. And it's like they don't really have the love for it because they don't really watch streams. They just know about the Kai Cenat and they just want to make money. They want to get subs. They want to get that's literally the only thing that they care about when it comes to it. And to where now it's like it's a hustle now. The streaming is about to lose a lot of like its viewership, at least in the black space, because all it is now is just rappers who careers are not as good anymore sitting on stream talking, and they have kind of access to certain things, so they can bring certain things to the stream that young dumb kids want to see. Like Blueface is a good example where Blueface ain't gonna put out a good song in a long, like he hasn't put out a good song in a long time. Even I fuck with Blueface, some of his music. I don't really like him. All the shit he shows that he's not a good human. So I don't really, you know, I'm not invested either way with him. Like, you know, respect him, but it's kind of like that. Now there are like the people, there are exceptions to that. You know what I mean? You do have like Wiz Khalifa. You know what I mean? Who every time I see any clips and anything from his streams, it seems really cool, and it's just like, oh, Wiz has always been a personality. He's always been on the internet. Soulja Boy's always been a personality, always been on the internet. That's different. You know what I mean? Those guys been doing that. You know, that's been their thing. DDG is a pioneer. I don't count someone like him, even though with him, there's even things that you can criticize. You know, and T-Pain even. You know what I mean? But that don't really count. But like you have all the low hanging fruit, low level, low effort people polluting the space, and yeah, something's about to happen. It's kind of like when YouTube has the adpocalypse, where on YouTube something happens, like Jake Paul and all of them come to the platform from Vine, and it becomes something happens traumatic, and then they lose ad viewership and changes happen to the algorithm and shit like that. But yeah, that happened with podcasting too, where it's just like everyone thought they could just do a podcast because they think it's just sitting around in front of some microphones talking. And for some people that is, like I think Lex and Drea from Poor Minds, they have a great podcast. That's a podcast that I listen to. They're not famous before the show. You know, I can listen to that. They're funny as hell. They talk about real shit. They even do the little shade roomy baddie conversations. And even the way that they do those conversations, I still like. I'm like, oh, I like these conversations. Like they're like actually just good. You know what I mean? They actually put the effort in. But they, you know, not everyone can be Lex and Drea. I can't even think of, and they are shits and gigs. Whether you hate them or love them, like not everyone can just be those people. You know, it's not as easy. It's what I'll say at least. But I kind of hope that dies out. Hope there's a new hustle, because it's like it's just the respect for these. I don't know what it is. Like for me personally, I'm a big not streaming, but a big podcasting guy. I love podcasts. I've been listening to podcasts for like 15 plus years. Like I always like that's just been my thing. That's the one thing you like. I've always loved. It's always been Brilliant Idiots, The Read, Combat Jack Show, rest in peace. Combat, Dallas Penn, rest in peace. Shout out Premium Pete. I wouldn't even watch podcasts. Most of them didn't have it. Tax season, shout out tax, free tax. What other podcast from that era that I was listening to? The Friend Zone. Friend Zone I think just celebrated 10, 11 years or something like that. You know what I mean? A lot of these podcasts have been around for a very long time. Joe Budden podcast, even though Joe Budden came after a lot of those pods I just named, but like, he's been around for 10 years, and he's been around before, but he's kind of like, he's like the first Soulja Boy, if you really want to think about it. He was the first rapper I saw have his own YouTube channel and actually upload and talk and shit. Go back. It was him. Soulja Boy already became a rapper from YouTube. Joe Budden was the first rapper who was already a rapper, successful, and then went to YouTube. First time I saw it, at least. Him and Wiz. But Wiz, I think, was even like after. Mac Miller did a little early on as well. A lot of them had YouTube channels. I'm trying to think of anybody else, but yeah. For podcasts, it wasn't many. There was a lot of other ones that I didn't listen to Joe Rogan, but I was familiar with him, obviously. But I didn't listen to any of the, like, I wasn't big on the white podcasts. I think there are better white podcasts today than there were back then. The black podcasts were kind of just the best out the gate. They were just fucking good, Like The Read is still one of my favorite podcasts to this day. I think sometimes they can be a little uppity and judgmental and bougie, like a little bougie judgment and unfair to certain people. But yeah, those are main podcasts. I mean, Friendzone is still one of my favorites to this day. I still listen to every episode. Shout out to Dustin, Fran, and Asante. Dustin is one of my favorite people on the internet. Been one of my favorite people on the internet even before I listened to the pod. Like shout out to that crew of people. And fucking what's they got a homegirl, Jade, that's funny as fuck too. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like he talking about podcasts only. I got on that whole rant because he's like podcasts only lived on YouTube. I'm like, damn, niggas really calling video podcasts. Like those are vodcasts. Like if the origin of your podcast is video first and then audio second, I don't count you as a legitimate podcast. Now I think the method is different because it's like, yeah, right. Why not record the video? Like there's going to be a point. Like I have like plans on creating some type of pod. I wish I lived close to, some of my friends who would be down to actually do a pod, but like there will be video added. Now, would it be like this whole setup thing? No, it'll probably just be me sitting here like this talking in long form content. I don't think I'm gonna do like a pod, but it'll be like, I will think of it as like audio, just speech. But if you have video content that isn't so reliant on the visual, extract that audio, upload it to the podcast services, do that, because I think that's the best way to do it. But let's go. I'm kind of sick of them talking about podcasts though.
But you see Netflix, what do they do?
Listen to a podcast that's just talking about podcast.
So many stars. They should have seen the kids doing baby music. They should have seen the lo-fi music channel guy. They should have saw it was before there was no Tubi. They should have saw the small independent movie guys, the director guys, the podcasters. You had them all. So now we're in 2026. Eventually, somebody else in the sea had a dick.
Yeah.
Somebody else had a wallet, and now they see what you want.
I like even though they're talking about podcasts, I do like to see Joe talk about this because the Netflix deal with podcasts are really great. So they have like the podcasts that I know. They have Bill Simmons, obviously some of the Ringer podcasts. I'm a huge fan of the Ringer podcast. Like Midnight Boy is my favorite shit in the world. That's not on Netflix though. But House of R I think is going to be on Netflix, which I love. Mallory and Joe, they're like my favorite white girls. Literally the only podcast where it's like more than one white girl that I ever listened to. I don't even think I listen to any other podcast with white girls. I listen to Chelsea Handler's podcast sometimes, like, you know, every once in a while. But I've always liked her. She's funny to me. If Nikki Glaser has a podcast, I'll probably check that out because she's funny as hell to me too. But yeah, they have like that. Breakfast Club is on there. They have Rory and Mal on there, and I've listened to a couple of the podcasts on Netflix. I like it because it's like I'll be at work, right, and I listen to podcasts while I'm working. And I literally you hear me? I typically only listen to them on audio. I go to the audio podcast, like Apple Podcasts, right? So I'm an audio listener for the most part. But one thing I like is what I love YouTube Premium because you can exit out the app and still have the audio playing. That's the reason why I use that. But what I love about Netflix is I'm already going to have Netflix, right? Because, shows and stuff. I listened to the Breakfast Club, and then like it's nice because then it's like I could pull it up if something happened. I could pull it up and the video's already there, right? Where like I'm like, oh, I'm watching it. And I don't think the Breakfast Club that much has had the full show on video, so I think that's a good thing. And I also like the way it looks and the audio quality. I know that sounds funny, but the production value is better on Netflix, which is nice. Now that I'm sure that's not for every pod. I heard some complaints about some pods, but I don't listen to them, so I don't care. And I also do Roy and Malls, and usually you would have to subscribe to their Patreon to get their video for the episode the day it comes out, and then also, watch it, while you listen. So I can combine my listen and video because I don't really go back and watch the video of a podcast that I've already listened to. But it's nice to be able to just go to Netflix real quick, pull it up. Starts playing. If something is interesting happening in the podcast and I want to pull my phone out and look and see what's going on, I can do that real quick. I like the method. I just think that I just don't know if anybody else is gonna listen to podcasts, but I'm also just a person who been listening to podcasts for over 15 years before podcasting became this escape for people during COVID. A lot of people became podcast fans after COVID, because if you look at music sales and streaming sales and shit, there's like average streaming sales, not just the biggest people. You see a dip after podcasts kind of blew up. Podcasts went up, music listening go up, because you can only listen to it. You got to pick and choose. My listening to music is drastically gone down compared to because I listen to podcasts. I can't listen to music while I'm at work. I never was that type of person. Now, if I'm in the gym, I can listen to podcasts, but I prefer music when I'm at the gym. But yeah, Netflix podcasts look great. Rory and Malls look great. And Breakfast Club, that's the perfect spot for them. If I was one of those people who worked from home, and I would definitely have it on my TV playing while I'm like doing work. I would definitely do it because it reminds me of like the old, like what was his name, like Howard Stern. It kind of reminds me of Howard Stern's show when his show was on TV on like I think it was on like E or something like that. That was like my first experience with like radio, like watching someone like a radio show. Obviously Tom Joyner, and Foxhole, I think it was Jamie Foxx, like shit like that I knew about, but I didn't like know about Howard Stern and Breakfast Club. Like right now, even to this day, like if I got a call today to work at a radio show, a radio station, I would, like on air talent, I would do it because I think it's one of the cooler jobs. If you can, if I could do that, but then make my online presence good enough too, to where I can end up making like a living off that, like legit, I would do it in a heartbeat because of like Howard Stern. But yeah, I think it looks great, and I think a lot of people had critiques of it. Now I can't speak for I don't speak for every other podcast. I think Rory and Mal, it might be a downfall long term for not having their shit on YouTube anymore, because it makes it a little bit harder to get to clip. I don't think you could just record clips of Rory and Maul's podcast via YouTube. I mean via Netflix because of their HDCP support. I think it probably would be hard to screen record off of there. There's certain things I could see be a downfall for them because a lot of their stuff just goes viral clips. Now people can still go to their Patreon and shit like that and get the episodes, I'm sure. So I'm sure people will find a way, like these clip channels and shit like that. So it's really no big deal there. And I'm sure they're gonna have clips on YouTube still. But I feel like that can hurt them. But for the Breakfast Club, it actually helps the Breakfast Club. It's kind of it like because their audio still, you can still listen to the audio on the podcast apps. You can still turn on your radio and Breakfast Club is there. Like when I wake up in the morning, I turn my car on, Breakfast Club is already playing. Then it transitions to Big Boy in the neighborhood because I'm on the West Coast. But like they're right there. They're, you know, and then what this does, it doesn't take away from any of that. It really just adds the video component, which I don't think they were ever releasing the full video of the show on YouTube. I don't think they were doing that. They were releasing the audio for sure. I don't know if they were. I never really listened to Breakfast Club on YouTube, but I just noticed, I was like, damn, that shit's dope. It reminds me of like when Wendy Williams had a show, like her radio show was on TV as well. Yeah, it was like the first time I ever seen Charlemagne. But yeah, I think Joe Budden's podcast wouldn't be good for Netflix. I think they will still have viewership, but I just don't. My question would be like, because Joe Budden is he's one of the pioneers of the video podcast as well. Because his podcast, even though it was primarily audio initially, the video aspect of his podcast, the look of it, the high quality of the video plus the audio, was a major component in the podcast being successful and changing what other people were doing with podcasts. Just the little set designs of podcasts was a big deal because of Joe. So I don't know what more like unless they get like a legitimate studio that is like a full-on set that isn't just an apartment, I really don't understand. I don't see what Joe would gain from Netflix outside of a bag. And he probably would have ownership still. Like having ownership of your show and it's being on there would be a big deal. Like Rory and Maul, I think that's probably the biggest thing is that they own their show, even though they're signed with, they're distributed through like Volume and things like that, and iHeart now. I think, well, to be fair, only time I hear the iHeart little jingle is at the beginning of the audio on, so they might just sold their audio rights for the time being. See, they might be doing some good business.
Coming to pull your biggest, and not just they're coming to pull from everybody pulled from. Yeah. Right? That was Barstool, that was Volume, that was
completely forgot about
wherever they pulled from.
Volume.
If I were YouTube, I would be concerned about what that meant.
Or Barstool, my
not today, but everything is projection. 10 years, 5 to 10 years from now. Right. What does that mean? My little sister right now is 12 years old, and the next 5 to 10 you talking about 17, 22 years old. How is she going to be consuming things? How is that age group going to digest? Where are they going to go? So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But if I were YouTube, I'd be having a meeting about it.
Wow. Good friend of yours. You guys go back and forth. Charlemagne,
my man,
$200 million to do his Black Effect, his podcast. Congratulations, Charlemagne, on that.
Indeed.
When you heard the news, like there was somebody.
Shannon do not like Charlemagne.
There was somebody in the Joe Budden that kind of looked like us, Charlemagne. I mean, Joe. Like 200 million. Like, damn. Congratulations. That's kudos. Don't hate. Okay. Let me see if I can get my group together and see what we can come up with.
Can't hate about that. You can't hate about that. If you wanted to hate him, that wasn't the time to do it. You can't. That's a black man who put the work in, who did it his way with his ideology, and at the end of the road, found a way to bump into that type of, not bump into, that's not wrong wording.
Sure made me looking buff. Like I was like damn, shoulders. I ain't even work out shoulders that much. I didn't even do that much. I'm like,
very.
This is fire.
Oh. Were you originally cast to be a member of the Breakfast Club?
No. Where'd you get that? Who you spoke to?
I'm just asking. I mean, you know.
I was so happy to be coming here mess-free. Because I don't have current mess. But who told you that? Where'd you get that from?
I mean, look.
That was a good one. No, I was never.
I don't know. I mean,
They both got the same pattern on.
Was in a hat.
Isn't that crazy?
My name was in the hat at inception. When they were tossing some ideas.
Yeah, because he's cool with G-Spin.
They really didn't have a title yet. I went to one dinner.
Shout out to G-Spin.
Somebody concerning that, but I was never.
G-Spin.
I was never.
Connect the dots, man.
That was a good one.
I would love to get in business in New York, man. There's so many names, but the thing is, scary. A lot of those names are probably either retired or like not there no more.
Everyday struggle.
Great fucking show. One of the greatest shows ever.
It changed everything about my life. Everything about my life. It was college. It was going to college for me, because I've never gone. So to wake up at 6 in the morning, head into the city from Jersey, and just kick it with people. Just kick it with people. And again, all the learning that happened for me, all of the education I got.
Everyday struggle was incredible. And Complex really fucked up letting Joe go.
That time was everything.
And I don't say that as in like, oh, they needed Joe or no. I just think that they could have accomplished something really, really good.
It was a huge rebranding tool for me, which was a large part of what I was doing it for.
Right.
I thought people might have had the wrong impression of me, and all good things came from it. All great things.
All right, there we go.
Would you consider you guys were the first take of hip hop?
Yeah. First take, Cold Piece was definitely inspiration for sure. That debate style was hot. There was the conversation going on in hip hop about.
I'm so 80. I always have to be like touching something. You gotta be doing something.
The younger generation, and how we should be kind and treat.
Mind you, that's the reason why. That is kind of just like, it's hard to listen to. I guess this counts as this is an interview, but it's a podcast. I will have to say that I just, without like, because I don't feel like it's good for the stream personally to watch this. I think it's probably a better experience on stream to, you know. Okay, that's good. That's all set up. Good. Oh, I gotta adjust this just a tad. There we go. Just a tad. We don't want the PlayStation in there. It's too meta. That's too meta. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think that would be enjoyable for the stream. So without being able to like click this thing, because there's certain things on this that I want to talk about. Like, I'm sure like some of the conversation, the Charlemagne one was a good one, because it always annoyed me. The whole Charlemagne versus Envy thing. Not Envy, but the Charlemagne versus Joe thing. Like I always thought that was really stupid of both of them. To like argue and shit like that. I always thought that was really stupid. Because they're like, what's the point? Oh shit, they got the Dune back. Zendaya's so fine to me, bruh. This looks nothing like them now. I'm surprised we didn't get Marty Supreme. I switched over because I'm just gonna play. Also, just want to kind of see what they got in the shop right now. Oh shit! Look at the shocks. What character I got right now? Oh, Snake with the shocks. Okay, let's see. Ooh, they got the up tempos. One of my favorite shoes ever, man. One of the coolest shoes ever, man. These are great. Funny enough, these are great summer shoes. Or you can wear them in winter with some like jogger, sweatsuit. I think those are nice to buy with sweatsuit. I kind of want to buy that, but like, why would I buy that? Okay. Oh shit, Cleveland. Hi guys, it's Cleveland. All right. Oh shit, Hank. South Park characters are really cool, man. I honestly, like, In order to buy them all, oh shit, 4,000. That's actually pretty good to buy the whole. To buy like how much do I need? See, that's I would never spend this much. I mean, I guess you could spend. You can see you can't even see that should be 3,000 because you down 3,000, you buy it like boom, boom. It'll be a little cheaper. So you're better off just getting this one. But like, who's spending $36 on skins? Like at one time at least. Like throughout time, like you add it all up. I don't see an issue with that. You know what I mean? I don't really see that big of an issue with it. Wait, what? I kind of like this though. That's kind of cool. Kind of cool. They always gotta make some shit for weebs though. After I get off of this, I'm gonna play a little guitar after I get off of this a little bit. I'm gonna play like 2 matches and then play guitar. These look great on the damn. These look great on here. Look at that. I hate these shoes in real life. I'm not a big Jordan 11 guy, but they look great on here. Yeah, they look great. Let's see. All right, that's all for that. What we got in the locker? I ain't really got nothing there. Who should I gotta pick one person who I'm gonna just keep, for the whole 2 matches. Who am I looking at that I'm like, yeah, I really want to play with them? Pause. Yeah. I got some of these skins I really wanted to. It's been a minute. Oh shit. It's been a minute since I played with Gambit. Let me get my pickaxe first. I know there's a staff somewhere. Is this a good staff? Good staff. Is this a better staff? This is a better staff. See if I got another staff that I can put on my back though. That's the thing. If I can put something on my back, I don't think I need to do that. I could just go. Should I go that X-Men? Should I this X-Men? I could even do this. Doesn't he have a? I could have swore he had a back bling. Oh, here we go. He does. I like to get my whole setup going. So I got that. The glider. Oh, I did it. Oh shit! Wait up. This is a good one.
Power on. Auxiliary in.
God, that scared me.
Power off.
I have it in my ear, so. This one kind of works. Kind of looks like his aura. Oh, never mind. Here we go. Nah, come on now. Come on, we go. Like you can't. Like, it's just too perfect. We keep the Marty McFlies on. Come on, man. Hold on. Let's see just some kinetic energy. That's a little bit better. What is it? That's kind of cool. I ain't got. Hold on, what's this? Oh no, that kind of looks like. I don't know. That's kind of like his powers. There we go. That's better. That's actually close. See, look, we got a whole thing that kind of fit his whole vibe. The Shady. But these capes are only for certain people. I guess because he has a cloak, he can't have a cape. All right, yeah, we got SpongeBob too. I love that emote. I think all of mine are like music. Wait. I've been on the stream long. This has been the ultimate test for the stream too, and I'm happy to say that it went well so far. No drop frames. It looks like it's. I'm actually looking at it on TikTok. TikTok looks like it's running really well. I don't really know. I'm gonna learn some some more about TikTok. Like I don't really understand like the whole live aspect of TikTok. I think it's probably more popular when you just sit your phone down and you sit in front of it and go on live and talk shit. But can I get kicked off the? Hold on, I gotta get away from these people. I gotta change some of the audio settings. Oh, is there, bro? What the fuck? Is there like a streamer mode or something where the music isn't? There's like no copyright music. Processing. No, it doesn't seem like it. So I guess I would just have to adjust it myself. As dang, audio, music. I'll just turn this off completely. Just to keep it safe, you know what I mean? I'm trying to. Oh, it's literally right here. Oh, here we go. Mute that. Always had that off anyways. Alrighty. We'll start off like that. See, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'll take that any day. Look at this. See now this is how you do it. You know what I mean? This is how you do it. Oh shit. Damn, so many people got the Power Ranger one. Wait, hopefully I don't just get murked. That'd be embarrassing. Ooh. Crazy how it works. This stream started off with me calling Schulz a grifter, and it ends with me playing some Fortnite with Gambit and SpongeBob as a party. Okay, leveled up. Leveled up. What's that Amine song? Count it up. Is it Count It Up? Count It Up. I think that's the song. You got your friends, give it up. Whatever happened to Amine, man? I feel like Childish Gambino fans loved him. Like white people who, like, it's always funny when like a white person's favorite rapper is Childish Gambino. It's like, I know exactly who you are. You love Bonfire or whatever the song was called. The Campfire or Bonfire? I like a lot of his later work more than his earlier stuff. His earlier stuff was just him trying to do his best Lil Wayne impersonation. And then like, so like when I found out that he just had this like one-sided beef with Childish Gambino, I mean with Drake, I was like, oh, I see why he had the beef with Drake, because he's like, it seemed like everyone who had a beef with Drake, some way, you know. Whoop, there it is. You see the aim? Appreciate you. You could did better. It seems like they idolize Wayne, because Childish Gambino idolized Lil Wayne. Kendrick Lamar on a different level idolized Lil Wayne. Like on a different level. Like is a huge Lil Wayne guy. And so it's just funny that they both just so happen to hate Drake. Also, I kind of hate when people just hate like the like easy person to hate. It's like what is in your brain? And for it's mainly the reasons why some of these people hate people. And I use Drake just because so many people hate him. But like the shit that annoys me is like the shit that they hate Drake for. I'm like, there's so many other reasons to hate Drake. Like, I don't particularly like him as, like, you know, from what he's shown at himself to be as a person. More so, that definitely nothing to do with, like, you know, like the music. I think the music is phenomenal. And, like, the thing with Drake is that there's so much music that, like, even if you hate a style of his music, he has another style of music that you might enjoy. Not saying that you just automatically don't like it, but I don't get the like Drake makes bad music argument. That's a dumb thing. I feel like the standard that Drake gets held to hold anybody else to. That's typically the only thing that ever annoys me. But you know, you can't even, you know what sucks? You can't even talk about that aspect of like the perception of Drake right now. You can't even talk about that without like being like grouped in with those fucking weird ass Drake fans, bro. Where like I'm like, yo, I hope y'all know that y'all not helping Drake. If the goal is to be like, hey, Drake is my favorite rapper, I'm a stan, which is fine. Everyone has their favorite person that they always support no matter what. But it's like, y'all don't realize that y'all make him look worse. Like, to be fair, he's done enough. I ain't gonna hold you. He's done enough, like, for himself to look bad. Shit to where I'm just like, even as a fan, I'm like, Drake, what are you doing? Like, you look nuts. The lawsuit, I don't think it's that crazy. I'm not one of those, like, hip-hop niggas that's, like, only uses hip-hop when like it benefits me. Like, oh, yo, that's not hip hop to sue. But I thought he wasn't hip hop, right? Like, he's not hip hop, right? So like, why would he follow the rules, right? Since he's not hip hop, right? Y'all say he's not hip hop, but now he has to like hold it down for hip hop now. Just shit like that, I just find a little. It's always just disingenuous to me. That's my biggest thing. It's just disingenuous criticisms. That's my only thing. I don't like that when it comes to anybody. I didn't like that when it came to Kamala Harris. Mainly because I'm just like, all right, you have these criticisms, and you know, I'm cool with criticizing. You know, so even though I was in full support of her run for president, because she was the better candidate. I think that's a crazy thing to say, especially now. But yeah, that was like. But even at the end of the day, there are criticisms. There are good criticisms. I think a lot of the criticisms that people have for her were just dumb. They were funny enough, they were very similar to a lot of the Drake criticisms. I'm like, you don't have to try that hard to criticize Drake in a way that is like genuine, you know? Like, oh, biracial, he not like us. That's cool. That's cool for Kendrick to do, right? Because yes, Kendrick needs to leverage anything against his opponent, and he did that masterfully. Right, he did it the right way. Do I agree with it? No, because I don't think that like just because you're not, you know, a certain type of black or didn't live a certain type of experience that you are not black culturally. Now, there's other things that Drake has done that to me I can be like, okay, that's not very black of you, like the whole supporting the Nelk Boys, standing side by side with Aiden Ross, even though a bunch of other black people, you know, sit by Aiden Ross. I don't even think in a lot of ways, I don't think Aiden Ross gets a lot of like the things that happens with him if it wasn't for two people, Bronny James and Drake. They're the reason why Aiden Ross can even feel comfortable doing a lot of the shit he's doing. And it ain't Bronny James' fault because he wasn't on that shit when he met him, but he just put a spotlight on him. And Drake, you know, with the whole stake shit, like you're standing side by side, and also the gambling shit. Like, so promoting gambling to me is a no-go. And too many people in hip hop culture and black culture have gambling ads on their podcasts, and that shit to me is you have no integrity as a human to me if that's what you're promoting. Damn, nigga. Oh, I forgot I respawned. I respawned with some shit though. At least I got something. Oh, I know he was mad as hell. I know he was mad as hell. I know he was mad as fuck. Oh, I know he was mad. Unless that counts as a kill for him. But if that doesn't count as a kill, that's hilarious. Oh my god, they killed Katie. Nope, still here. Ooh. SpongeBob scared the shit out of me though, just now. I forgot what I was even talking about. Maybe one day I'll do a video. Maybe one day I'll do like, I'll actually sit down, write a little quick video about my opinion on the Drake situation, the Drake versus Kendrick situation, like the whole thing, because I don't like a lot of it, and it has nothing to do with who I think is a better rapper, or who my personal favorite is, because literally my personal favorite is Kendrick. Like, no one has made a better album than To Pimp a Butterfly to me. Not even Kendrick. But just so happened he made that album. So maybe I'll do a video where, because I don't know, I just don't like the unfairness in the whole beef. Like, that shit's just weak. Like, we did, like, and like I said, I keep reiterating, didn't even have to do all that extra shit. Like, Drake could have just won. I mean, not Drake, but Kendrick could have just won, even with Not Like Us. Like, I don't think he should have not did Not Like Us. I think Not Like Us is great, and it worked. I think that Kendrick did not, in my opinion, I don't think Kendrick did anything wrong. He was already talking to Matt. He was already talking shit about his wife. He was doing a lot. So it's like, in my opinion, that was a fair game. It felt like, from what I heard, like from what it seemed like, unless my memory is serving me wrong, but it actually seemed like Drake got personal first. At least that's what I feel like I remember. But you know, I could be wrong. So it's like, the pedophile stuff is like whatever, the PDF file, however y'all say it on the internet. That's not really the biggest thing, because like, either he is or he isn't. And if I were to be fair, I would say he isn't. Slurp it up. That was a fake person. That was a bot. That was a bot ass username. Too specific to the game. I'm that ass that I got bots in my battle. How many people left? There's only 8 people left? Hell, fuck yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. You hear me? Oh, fuck yeah. There's only 8 people left. Nice, they got like a little reload button there, though. I gotta find that. I don't like that they got that shit called Sut Studios. That's like, that's where like AAV kind of gets like, AAV, which I don't like saying that, but Ebonics gets like co-opted by like white people. Cause now this game got something like low-key homophobic in it without realizing it. Unless that's like the point. Bro, if that's a Juice WRLD, I never can kill Juice WRLD in this damn game. I swear to God. I finally killed Juice WRLD. Rest in peace. I never killed Juice WRLD. Anytime someone has a Juice WRLD skin, they fuck me up. Whoop! Dot, fuck him up. I'm gonna do my stuff. Ooh, I survived, y'all. I survived. If I win this one, I'm gonna end the stream. We good. If I lose this one, I'm gonna end the stream anyways. I thought I would do too, but I've been on for a while today. Well, let them fight, bruh. Let them fight. And I get to see all the chests for all of them, man. Oh, get out of there. Bruh, if you do not, what the fuck? What the fuck happened? Oh, that was so annoying. Oh no, he's dead. Jacob is dead. Come on, I need the money. I did something there. I forget how the storms in this game be moving different now. Oh no, he came back. Damn it. I was hoping I was like I could grab that real quick. That was bullshit. Fuck, he got me, yo. I'm cooked. I'm cooked. That shit moving fast as fuck. Ain't gonna need that. Gotta find some help. If I die, bro. Shit, that shit move a little bit. Oh, that was the greatest thing I could have ever found. Oh, that was goated. That was goated. Gotta get myself. I saw him over there. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, shit. Oh, I thought that was. Oh, shit. I thought they had me for a second. I was like, oh. SpongeBob, get your ass in here. Fuck. Hey, I knew it. I knew it. He got me. He got me, yo. Oh, shit. I thought he went up top. Fuck. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. I'm gonna end the stream. I gotta make sure this shit actually ends because so many. It's three different streams. It feels like the quality has been good. What's this?